Feels good. Feels so good. Welcome back, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. And we are so glad to be here, whether you're listening on your radio to the FM signal, whether you are watching on YouTube, which you can also do, youtube.com, search Ben and Woods, whether you're listening on a smart speaker, whether you're listening on your phone, on the Odyssey app, however you're consuming us, we really appreciate you consuming us. Very much so. And it's great to be back with my boys. I did not get to see them over the break at all. I'm Woodsy. That is Paul Reindl to my right. He's our executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Your pretty face. And off to the left. Oh, boy, you guys.
King of the castle.
King of the castle. Wait till we tell you what this MFer said when he walked in.
Haven't seen each other in 5 days.
5 days.
It's a long time for us.
Ben Higgins is your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. And this, I can't even look at him right now. He walks in, sits down. Hey, Ben, hey, how are you? Good, great. Sits down in his chair. He goes, I don't know if it's because I'm losing weight, but it's really cold in here. And I looked at him, I go, are you out of your mind? Oh, you and Paul must be sweating because you're both morbidly obese. But me, I've shed so much weight, I'm actually cold now. We're like,
First thing he said. Walks in. He hasn't even sat down.
Didn't even sit.
Hey, good morning, Benny.
God, I lost all this weight. So, when you lose a bunch of blubber,
well,
you're
actually,
just cold.
you guys don't
know. But trust me, if you lose a lot of weight, you're going to be very cold. Are you out of your mind, Benjamin?
I was just about to say how much I missed you guys over the last 4 days, but you know what? Never mind.
You didn't miss this?
Never mind. Did not miss this at all.
First of all, what are you even doing here? Today's National Hawaii Day, so you shouldn't even be here, number one.
Is anybody working this week? I thought, hey, I'm taking 3 out of the 5 days off this week because I'm off on Friday, too. I'm only working a 2-day week, and now I feel like I'm putting in 2 days more.
2 extra days.
Than most people out there. The roads are like empty. Everyone has somehow gone on vacation this week, but I know there are tier ones who are hard at work, who worked over the weekend I did, and we appreciate you getting up, and we're here for you the rest of this week, at least Paul and Woods are. I'm going to go on third vacation starting on Friday, but
Indeed.
I'm glad to be back with you guys today. And I did not add – you inferred all the parts about the blubber and you and Paul.
You must be so hot.
You're both looking summer shapely.
Because you're fat. You're both fat. I'm skinny, so I'm cool.
You're the one who complained about the temperature in here all the time, and I'm the one who's always thinking, I'm kind of warm in here. What's going on? Now I'm sympathizing with you that I now understand it can get kind of cold in here when you're not as insulated as I used to be, which I am no longer quite so insulated.
Turn the fan on in here. I'm just so hot.
Well,
I'm so fat.
I'm sweating. I am hot in here. I'm sweating under my pits.
Must be that about damn time light that's finally turned on for a Padres victory that's warming things up for you.
No question. No question about it. Listen, it was great. It was nice to have a few days off. It was, but it's like anything. I read somebody had this quote. It's not a vacation if you have kids. It's a trip. You go on a trip. We went on a trip, an impromptu trip to Palm Springs. My kids are both obsessed with the desert. They've never been to the desert. So we thought, you know what? We're not doing anything. Let's take them to the desert. So my wife gets on the old computer, fires off, sniffs around, finds a pretty good deal for a one-night stay. And we're just going to go for the night. And we drive out to Palm Springs.
Somewhere with a pool, I hope.
Oh, yeah. Believe you me, there was a pool. The pool looked like it was filled with chlamydia. It was all cloudy.
That's sunscreen, I think.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah.
Well, it was disgusting, number one. So we get out to the desert. It was no BS. It was 120 degrees. When we pulled into the parking lot, we got out. We opened the door. I went, Taylor got out of the car, started crying immediately. That dude is not cut out for the heat at all.
There is a reaction.
Crying.
It's extreme heat.
Hits
you like like a wall of bricks as you get out of the air conditioning.
We get out of the car, and I go, Bo, you want to come help me check in? And he's like, yeah. He gets out, he goes, Dad, I need a jacket. I mean, he's like Rodney Dangerfield, this kid. He lays me out. I'm dying laughing. We walk inside, get checked in. We go to the room. We go down to the pool. There's 40,000 people in the pool. It looked like Vegas. I go, where are we going to sit? And the heat, you can see it radiating off the ground. I'm like throwing sunscreen on the kids. You get in the pool, it is murky. I mean, it is murky. There's urine and STDs in there. It was disgusting. There was a family of Dodger fans. I'm not, probably 30 of them. All had their Dodger hats on in the pool, all of them, just wreaking havoc over the side, sucking down Mick Ultras. And I looked around, I looked at him, I mouthed like 15 minutes. And she's like, yeah. The kids, of course, they don't care. They'll swim in a swamp. They couldn't care less. They just want to be swimming. So we had to be like, hey, let's go get some ice cream and sweet treat. And finally we got them out of the pool. It was horrible. So we go, Hannah picks a restaurant. You guys, it was a barbecue place. It was, Paulie, the place we went, this was worse. I got pulled pork, and it was like, this is dog meat. I'm eating dog meat. So we powered through that, went back to the hotel.
How'd they prepare? We just left it outside.
Yeah, we left it
30
outside.
minutes.
Yeah, we cooked it in the it's slow and low. You left it out by the trash can.
Dashboard, pulled pork.
Dashboard. So I ate it with a fork. I ate the bun. I was like, this is the worst. So we go. So we get back to the hotel, and it's like 7, and the kids are wide awake, and I'm like, what are we going to? I was debating just packing everybody's stuff and driving back. Like, I can make it 2 hours. So like we put something on the TV. Hannah goes, oh my God, it's so hot in here. How hot is it? I go, it's 81. And I get in our room. So I crank it down to like 65. And you hear like the and we're laying there. All the covers are off. Bo's in my bed. Taylor's in hers. And I'm like, all right, if everyone just shuts up and go to sleep, we'll wake up. We'll get the hell out of here early. We'll just go. Dude, in the middle of the night, the thing turned off. I woke up. It was 85 degrees in the room. I was like, so 6 a.m. I was like, all right, up and at 'em. We're going back home. It was horrible, 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 horrible. Then to top it off, yesterday, my wife got the brilliant idea of let's go down and the kids want to ride their bike in the parade. I said, no, they don't. You want them to, and you want to do it. They don't know. They don't even know what a parade is. They don't. And they had, no one came to you and said, Mama, I want to ride in the 4th of July parade. You have an idea. You want them to look cute riding their bikes. I get it. And I wore it. I did not lose my cool at all. Bro, we went to the Rancho Santa Fe 4th of July parade, and we're riding. They're waiting around for like an hour for this thing to start. And it's hot off on the blacktop, the whole bit. So they get the thing started, and they're riding. They make the first part of the parade is like the Tour de France. It's straight uphill. And you got 2-year-olds trying to pedal their bikes. It's straight up, yeah, like the Pyrenees. And I'm like, oh, no. So guess what happened? We made it about 150 yards, and I'm done. I want to go home. So guess who carries 2 bikes back to the car, roasting sweat. I'm like, this is the worst. And I didn't say anything. I just wore it for once in my life. I didn't bitch and moan. I just said, I'll just save it for the air. I'll bitch and moan on the air. We got home. I was like, oh my God. So yeah, there's no relaxation. There was no rest. I'm not refreshed. I'm not recharged. I'm the opposite of, but I am glad to see you guys. Glad to talk some baseball, man. I missed it.
Well, welcome to your vacation from your trip.
This is amazing.
Getting back to work.
It's so quiet in here and nice, and people are so friendly. It's great.
The polar opposites of a child-free life, I guess.
Yeah, 100%.
I set up a TV in our patio and
chilling.
Was just chilling. It was 75, 80 degrees all weekend, just sitting outside watching baseball. It was GD fantastic.
It's just fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic.
I'm in the middle with my kids being older, but my youngest wants to get into golf, so took him to play at the Goat, and we had a good time.
There you go.
Even made a couple of pars.
Did he?
Almost made a birdie on the 9th hole, and then went to the game yesterday with my parents.
You missed a hole-in-one by 2 inches.
Yeah, I sent you the picture. I don't usually do that. It was that close. I mean, it was probably an inch and a half from the hole from going in.
I mean, you love a tap-in birdie. Anytime you love a tap-in birdie.
But, I went to the game with my parents and went and found Eno Saris, who was sitting in a Western Metal Supply Company suite. And I had actually never been, the balconies that actually where all the home runs go that overhang. I'd never been in one of those suites. Really cool place to watch a game. Got to meet his wife and his father-in-law. His kids were there. Some more people they knew. They were having a really good time. And he's going to be down here all week. So when we have him on, hopefully tomorrow, trying to get him to come in studio. If he can, I think he's going to the zoo today. Told me he's working on a Yu Darvish piece, and he's trying to get some FaceTime with you while he's in town as well. It should be an interesting piece if he gets it done. So it was really fun to meet Eno in person, though, yesterday, and spent a couple of innings chatting. He was very loose and having a good time, enjoying some craft beer of San Diego, and just marveling at Petco Park, which has got to be one of his favorite places in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it always shows out, man. Like yesterday looked, when they were showing it on TV, I was like, God bless, this looks beautiful, just beautiful. And obviously the result the last couple of days were great. When we took off,
that helps.
Holy crap, dude. I mean, my heart got ripped out and stomped on, more than once while we were out on vacation. I even took a break from, crapper videos. I was so sad watching this team kind of implode since we left. But hey, listen, onward and upward. Should be a pretty positive show, I would imagine. There's a lot of comments and stuff we need to kind of suss out from Peter Seidler. Revisit our interview with AJ Preller on Friday. There's a lot to get to today. But before we split, I was really sad to see over the weekend another tremendous loss in the San Diego music community. Rick Froberg, who was this legendary punk rock guitar player, lead vocalist for Drive Like Jehu and Hot Snakes, passed away. You'll hear both of those bands on our returns every now and then. He was just a legend. Encinitas guy, 55 years old, man, and just a tremendous loss. One of about 3 or 4 that the San Diego music scene has suffered in the last few months, and it just broke my heart, man. So 55 is way too young, and very influential on so many people that I know and love. Very influential on anybody in Encinitas, California in the last 25 years that's picked up a guitar, probably due to Rick Froberg. That's how influential he was, all over the news nationally. You said Channel 10 even did a story on him. So rest in peace, Rick. And to his family and friends, I feel you. I'm sorry for your loss. He was an incredible influence on so many people. Man. 55, man. And just they called him, they said he had the perfect punk rock voice. And I don't think I could disagree at all. So we'll take you out for this break with a little bit of the Hot Snakes here. But yeah, just a really sad day. But hey, listen, like I said, we're going to stay positive. We're going to be talking Padres baseball, catching up with our beloved tier ones out there. We just think the world of you. We're so happy to be back, and we're here to serve you today. Are we not?
We are, absolutely. Let's listen to a little music as we go to break. A little more coming out with the Daily Ditty. Padres made a surprise move yesterday as well. We'll get into all of it coming up with Ben and Woods. Glad to have you with us on San Diego's #1 sports station. Let's check traffic. Don't know that there's much this morning with Kelly on 97.3 The Fan.
Great pick.
Always
Benjamin.
a fan of the Police.
Me too. Is this
But
law enforcement
Sting
topic?
Sting is one of the most troubled songwriters out there. The theme this week is songs that are just disturbing.
Okay,
and if you listen to the lyrics of this one,
very creepy.
It doesn't get creepier than this. It's about a guy who's going to kill himself to make his ex-girlfriend feel guilty about it, of breaking up with him.
Yes,
it is like the most disturbing song.
Well, he's got a few. He's got every breath you take.
That's creepy. Stalker.
Yeah. There's another one about underage women.
Yes. Don't stand so close to me.
I mean,
Bro, what
are you doing?
Creepy songwriter.
Just be the police week.
This week's theme is songs that you find disturbing.
Okay, there's so many good ones of like where like you heard it when you were a kid and then you hear it later. You're like, is he talking about? He is.
Short week was like I need 4 days a day.
We may need to carry it over, but so I mean, the way I used to listen to music, I never really paid attention that closely to lyrics. I was more like, oh yeah, I like the beat. I like the beat and the sound sounds good. And sometimes when you start thinking, okay, what is he really singing about or she singing about in this song? You go, oh, never really considered what I've been singing along to all these years.
Definitely.
How weird or creepy it can be. And that one is always just sticks with me. And I go, this is horrible. This is horrific. This is a horrific song.
It's absolutely
that I can tap my toe to.
Yeah, it's absolutely the deeper meaning behind songs. I love that, Benjamin. Great selection. I hate that it's a short week. I hate it.
So I think there was a deeper meaning to the move the Padres made. Bob Melvin explained it a little bit yesterday. I don't get surprised that often by Padres moves.
Same.
But when Paul texted, because I hadn't seen it yet, and he goes, Nelly DFA. My reaction was whoa, and it wasn't because it was whoa Nelly, but it was. I just wasn't expecting that. I mean, he hasn't been great, obviously, but he's cheap. He's a veteran. I don't think he's been the problem this year for the San Diego Padres. What am I missing? What's going on here? But the deeper meaning is Bob Melvin kind of explained it yesterday, is that the Padres have been lacking flexibility in what they can do during games. When you have two players in both Matt Carpenter and Nelson Cruz who can't play the field and can only be a designated hitter, it really wasn't working for the team anymore. You need to have days where Manny Machado, like yesterday, can be the DH. Get Fernando Tatis Jr. off of his feet. Give Juan Soto a day off the field. And when you do that, that means that two of your roster spots are thus null and void for that day. You're playing with a 24-man roster. Anytime you want to get one of your starters off their feet, just wasn't working for the San Diego Padres anymore. I don't think this was at all an indictment on Nelson Cruz. And in a just world, it's probably Matt Carpenter who gets his DFA papers over Nelson Cruz. But unfortunately for the Padres, they've invested in Matt Carpenter beyond this season. And, that's an irrevocable decision that you still hold some hope out that Matt can get it going this year. And if not this year, that something clicks in the offseason and he can come back and have a hot streak for the Padres at some point, whereas Nelson Cruz was cheap and was going to be a free agent again at the end of the year and ultimately drew the short stick in the Padres roster moves yesterday. But kind of unfair, I thought, to Nelson Cruz. But I now understand, as Bob explained it, why the Padres made the move that they did.
Yeah, it was a shock. It was a shock. But I think desperate times call for desperate measures, right? And being having the ability to be a little bit more versatile when you need to be. And like you said, it's not necessarily Matt Carpenter's now going to get a lot more opportunities in the field. It's somebody else is going to come up and spell guys when they need to be spelled. It was kind of the timing's a little weird, right? Like just a week or so before the All-Star break. That's a little odd. But other than that, they felt they needed to do something, and they need to shore up some defense and shore up some bullpen. It's just been, it's been a rocket ride watching the bullpen the last week or so. So that was kind of my bugaboo 2 weeks ago. That really hasn't changed. It's tough sledding out there for the bullpen right now, Benny.
Obviously, Padres getting a little thinner in pitching. Steven Wilson still down until after the All-Star break. Rotation as well, though. Michael Wacha, who came back through pretty well.
Yeah.
After taking a start off due to the shoulder fatigue, get sent to the 15-day IL, retroactive to that last start day after on Sunday. So he's out until after the All-Star break as well. Padres are hopeful he will come back, but it seems a little iffy now to count on Michael Wacha for big innings in the second half if this shoulder fatigue is something that can keep lingering. And they're so short on starters right now. I mean, there's no one they can pull up really from AAA that's effective. Matt Waldron is back. He had a decent 4 innings in his first start, but Book's going to get out on him really quickly in Major League Baseball. It always does. That knuckleball is going to be seen on tape by more and more people as he makes his next start, whenever that's going to be.
Well, and you have to have somebody that can catch it, and Gary didn't call a lot of knuckleballs because he can't catch it. Doesn't really know how to catch the knuckleball. So it's not really an effective pitch if your catcher can't catch it, at that point. So problem is this, it's all cyclical, and I think you look at it and you go, well, the starter went down. That's fine. We just replace this starter with this guy. No, it doesn't necessarily work like that all the time. Now you're just sliding guys back in the bullpen. When you look down at the bullpen and again, nothing personal against these guys, but you look at them and you're like, I don't know, man. It seems like Bob doesn't have still a hell of a lot of options to go to. And if you got Matt Waldron, who's 4-inning guy, and you got Adrian Morejon, who had a nice 4 innings the other day, and you've got Drew Carlton, who's about a 3-inning guy, it's hard to piece this together and then worry about the next night and the night after that as well. It's very difficult. And I think that's been proven over the last week or so that there is still a major issue in bullpen depth.
And we may see it today as we get into our Padres wrap-up coming up next. Find out even in one of the nicer wins for the Padres and beating up Shohei Ohtani yesterday, you still had a moment at the end of the game that is probably going to impact the series finale later today because of that bullpen. We'll get into all of it, wrapping up the Padres win yesterday. We'll get into all the games we missed over the last 5 days. Padres actually have a winning record since we left. No, that does much for anybody, but yeah, 3-2 since we were last on the air. And then later on, we will talk to some of our friends. Yeah, they won 2 against the Angels, 1 against the Reds, lost 2 against the Reds. Got a couple of our friends on a Wednesday. Adam Jones will be with us at 7:35, and then Jordan Schusterman, usually Monday guest from Cespedes Family Barbecue, going to join us at 8:35 this morning. Give a different middle-of-the-week crowd a chance to experience one of our favorite guests today.
He was in Cincinnati, saw the Padres play last weekend, and then him and Jake, they can't join us next week. They're going to be busy at the All-Star game.
Very cool.
Loaded schedule. Says, let's get you on Wednesday and go from there.
All of our guests appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Back with the Padres wrap-up next on 97.3 The Fan. Sour 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Hint Water. Delicious fruit-infused water with zero sugar or diet sweeteners. Hint is water with a touch of true fruit flavor. Available in stores across the U.S. or delivered to you at hintwater.com. Well, something that had never happened to Shohei Ohtani before. A couple things, actually. Had 3 extra base hits by one player. Back-to-back home runs off him as well. All happened yesterday. We'll hear Jesse's calls.
Shohei Ohtani overrated?
July Shohei Ohtani, very over. June Shohei Ohtani, maybe the best player in baseball
Padres are like
history.
one of the worst teams in baseball.
This is your
dominated.
MVP? That's your MVP?
You guys really want to? You really want the team to go after him this offseason, huh?
Okay.
How much money did the Padres cost Shohei Ohtani yesterday?
Just kidding. He's phenomenal.
Yes. We will get to our Padres wrap-up right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your 15-minute instant drive-thru oil change. A couple things to watch out for in your travels. One of them is a stalled car on the Coronado Bridge heading over to the island. This is right around mid-span. Appears to have that right lane blocked. Collision in the North County, southbound 15 before Gopher Canyon, getting that cleared over to the right shoulder. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car. It usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for discounts and locations nearest you. Valvoline Oil Change Centers are open 7 days a week. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Miss any of yesterday's Padres game?
Did you catch a game last night?
Well, we've got you covered.
Thank you.
It's the Padres Wrap-Up with Ben and Woods.
Go! It's our house right here, baby.
Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. On 97.3 The Fan.
That is the ball game, and that is a winner. This about damn time. Here's the 2-2. Ohtani swings and misses. Strike 3. A 1-2-3 first for Joe Musgrove, and he caps it with a strikeout of Shohei Ohtani. Here's a ground ball to first, deflects off Cronenworth's glove. Kim tries to go bare hand, has it, drops it, throws to first in time, and the inning is over. Moustakis does not run well, and Ha-Seong Kim, who's been absolutely brilliant defensively this year, stuck with that play all the way. Cronenworth to his right deflected it. Kim tried to bare-handed it, picked it up, and threw to first to end the inning. First pitch on the way, sends this one in the air to deep right center. Renfroe's going back into the gap, looking up, going to one-hop off the wall. Machado has scored. Bogart's being waved in behind him. He's going to score. It's a 2-run double for Jake Cronenworth. Hunter Renfroe leading off the 5th inning, swings to the first pitch, hits a rocket out to left center field, and that one's going to go. Hunter Renfroe's hit about as many home runs here as anybody this side of Manny Machado or Adrian Gonzalez, and that one a laser to left center. The Angels are on the board here in the 5th inning. Now a 2-1 game. And the 0-1 pitch hit hard in the air to deep left field. Guess what? He's done it again. Xander Bogaerts, a 2-run homer. Goes deep for the 2nd consecutive game. And Bogaerts, this 2-run shot against Ohtani. And the Padres now lead 4-1. Now Cronenworth already 2 for 2 with a pair of doubles. He swings at the first pitch. Sends it deep to right center field. High and deep. Renfroe watches, gonna go! Jake Cronenworth goes back-to-back with Bogaerts. His 3rd extra base hit of the day, and it's 5-1. Runners lead, and now the 1-2 to Manny. Soto runs again. Machado hits it up the middle, and off the glove of the second baseman, Rengifo, into left center. Kim has scored. Soto's going to be held at 3rd. Manny takes a wide turn as the throw comes home, but he'll walk back to first base. That's an RBI single for Machado, his 3rd straight hit, and the Padres do add on at 6-1. 2-1 pitch, and Bogaerts hits it off the end of the bat into right field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Renfroe charges it, but is only placed to second base. Another RBI single, and another hit for Xander Bogaerts. Soto scores, and it's 7-1 here in the 7th. See if Grisham runs on 3-2. He does, and the pitch to Soto hit hard on the ground to Escobar. Kept him out of the double play. Throw to first is in time. Odor will come in and score, and the Padres add on again. Grisham being on the move basically earned the Padres that run. It's 8-1 here in the 8th, including one a couple of weeks ago that went 514 feet. Here's a line drive into right center field and a base hit. That's going to find the alleyway, roll all the way to the base of the wall. Fernando picks it up. Ward is rounding third on his way. Adele trying for third. The throw gets through Odor, and it'll be an RBI triple for Joe Adele. The guy's got 2 hits in the major leagues this year, 1 a homer and 1 a triple. It's 8-2 here in the 9th.
He's got to give some innings.
This one is muscled in the air to shallow left center. Trent coming in. He'll line it up and make the catch. Adele tagging at third. Grisham's throw on his way home, not in time. A sac fly for Eduardo Escobar, but the Padres will trade the run for the out. 1 down here in the 9th, and now 8-3 San Diego. 2-1 to Taylor Ward. Here's the pitch from Hader, and that is looped up the middle on the ground. Charging Kim in front of the bag at second. Off balance throw to first in time, and the ball game is over.
Yeah, you know what? It's better than losing a game. So obviously it wasn't a great feeling there at the end, but we won the game. So we'll settle on that.
Bob must listen to the show. Winning, it's better than losing.
Yeah,
it is better than losing.
God, man, even the wins feel. It's like it's hard to celebrate. It was like hard to celebrate.
Well, yeah, when
yesterday.
you have a 7-run lead in the 9th inning and you have to bring your closer in, and the tying run ends up on base, or at least at the plate.
Yeah, at the plate.
And the tying run on base and the
Yeah.
winning run or go-ahead run at the plate in the 9th inning does feel like a somewhat costly victory, because who knows? Will Josh Hader be available today? Who is available in the Padres bullpen?
He will not be available today. There's just no way. He's got 62 pitches since Friday, through 23 yesterday and 19 on Monday. You know, it came out over the weekend essentially that he's just not a guy that's going to throw multiple innings. He will go back-to-back days, as we saw, but even him being fairly ineffective yesterday is still better than any other option you have down there. So I understand that. But, and for, all of those that don't understand it, look, I'm always going to lean typically to the player in that regard. Like, he's a free agent at the end of this year. Bob Melvin was a player. He was a player. Bob Melvin knows, it's hard because it's not like he's a professional ball player. His job is to get outs, right? But he also has to do what he feels is comfortable for himself and his body, and he knows his body. And if he says he can't go, he can't go. You're not going to force a guy to go out there and take the ball. There was one of the games while we were gone over the break where I was like, I know Josh Hader's deal. He needs to go out and wear 3 more outs for his team. One of the games against Cincinnati or something that we ended up losing. And I understand that, but, man, he's got a family and a future and all that, and it's tough. It's tough for Padre fans that just want to see wins, and I understand where you're coming from as well, but it's just not something he's comfortable doing. And there's a reason behind it.
Kind of diabolical, but is that AJ Preller and Bob Melvin's problem?
Again, you can't force somebody to go pitch.
Why not? I mean, if they call down to the bullpen, if today's game is 5-3 going into the 9th inning, and Bob Melvin calls the bullpen phone and says, "Get Josh going,"
well, is he
going to just say no?
It's predetermined, right? It's predetermined today.
That's a good point.
So when he gets to the ballpark, I would imagine
there's a conversation that needs
from
to be
what
had.
I understand how it works from talking to managers. It's, hey man, how you feeling? I'm all right. Can you give me one? Can you give me a batter? Back in the day when you didn't have to face 3 batters, it was a lot easier. You'd probably see more of Josh Hader for a batter or 2 if you needed to. And maybe to close out an inning, maybe you could get 1 batter out of him. I don't know. That's on him, though.
I have mixed feelings. Guy has a 1.15 ERA. He's 19 saves. He's an all-star. I'm not going to place blame for the Padres' struggles on Josh Hader, who's been an excellent pitcher this year. However, you look at where has it gone wrong for the Padres in this last 3 weeks?
The bullpen.
Well, and you can all point to maybe starting on Monday, June 19th against the San Francisco Giants, that 10-inning loss where they blew the late lead where Josh Hader wasn't available in that game, or 4 days earlier against the Rockies when they were going for the sweep in Denver and Josh Hader was not available and they ended up blowing the lead and losing 5-4 to the Colorado Rockies. I thought those were two of the most pivotal losses of the season. After that Giants loss, that's when this stretch of, losing really began. They were 35-36 trying to get back to 500. They would have gotten back to 500 with a win that day, and they didn't get it. And, of course, they haven't sniffed 500 ever since that game. Is that Josh Hader's fault? Not really. But, it is a lack of bullpen depth and having other guys to step in when Josh Hader is not available. You can have Josh Hader in a really good bullpen, but you have to know if your closer can't pitch more than one inning and he can't pitch more than 2 days in a row, you better have 3 or 4 good options behind him, not just, a Steven Wilson and an injured Robert Suarez. And after that, it's ridiculous. I like the story of Jose Castillo. Glad to see him back. He pitched great for the Padres in 2018. Since then, he made one appearance in 2019, one appearance last season, and one appearance yesterday, which went about as poorly as you can in a Major League Baseball game. I don't know. I know El Paso, they say it's kind of like Coors Field with the thin air and the
ERA's great down there.
How do they not give up 30 runs every game? Because every pitcher they bring up from there looks like they have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah,
you feel like they're going to give up 25 every game down there.
I know. And his ERA in El Paso was actually pretty good, like 2.5 or something. So it's tough, man. There's just not a lot of options, man. There's just not a lot of options. You need to, if you're going to make a move pre-deadline, you're seeing other teams go out and grab relievers right now. The Rangers just did it with Aroldis Chapman. There's other guys out there that are willing to be moved. This is the time. I mean, honestly, I know you're going in the All-Star break and all that, bless you. But, man, you got to have a guy, Ben, that you can count on to get 3 outs when your closer is down. And right now, when you go to that phone and you call down there, it is throwing darts at a board. It is wing and a prayer time. When anybody comes in, and I mean Timmy Hill, he's lost right now. I mean, he's walking guys, giving up home runs. It's going to happen. I get it. You look at Brent Honeywell. Every time he pitches, he gives up at least one bomb. It seems Luis Garcia can't buy a clean inning. Got those 2 quick outs yesterday. I was like, there we go. Let's build on this. Hit, walk. I'm like, oh my God. Nick Martinez lost right now. Tom Cosgrove, pretty good. I like Tom a lot. Morejon did a nice job in the spot start the other day. And then you've got Pedro Avila, who threw 48 pitches on Sunday. Guys, this is the bigger picture of the problem right now is bullpen depth.
On the positive side, look what the Padres can do when Manny and Xander and Jake actually hit the ball a little bit. And we have seen so little of it this season, right in the middle of the order. Those 3 guys oftentimes back to back to back in the middle of the Padres order, 4, 5, 6 in a lot of Bob Melvin's lineups. And so many times 0 for 12, 1 for 13, 2 for 13 with 1 run scored. I mean, the numbers have been staggeringly bad for that trio. This is what my son said yesterday to me, and I thought it was a good point. He goes, this is the kind of game I kind of expected from the Padres this season. Maybe not the greatest pitching staff in the world, but plenty of offense. You got guys, 1 through 6 or 7 who all can do damage. You're going to put up 7, 8, 9, a lot of games, and you'll probably win a bunch of 8-5 games like yesterday. And when Manny goes 3 for 3 and Xander goes 2 for 3 with a home run and Jake goes 3 for 4 with 3 extra base hits, doesn't really matter as much how the pitching was. But huge bright spot, as was Joe Musgrove when they needed, you thought it was dicey enough getting through the 9th inning. Imagine if Joe had only gone, 5 1/3 or 6. Getting 7 out of him was brilliant and huge. Thought his best performance of the season yesterday for Joe Musgrove as well.
Yeah, I agree. He was incredible. Spinning it like a madman, 11 Ks. Just fantastic.
He's been locked in for the last month and a half.
Exactly what you needed from him yesterday. And again, you think that an 8-1 lead is safe. And I feel terrible, Benny, for Jose, man. The grind to get back to the big leagues. And look, he's going to get another opportunity. I think you can maybe chalk that one up to some nerves. At one point he did paint 98 on the black, which is pretty dirty from the left side, but that's when Ruben needs to get in there and say, hey, man, that one needs to go down the toilet, go join Woods in the crapper, flush that thing, and let's move on. And because, again, you're out of options down there right now. You are. And if you're Bob Melvin going into today's game, Guess who the onus falls on today? The offense. You better put up 12 runs because Honeywell's going to be in. Maybe Tim Hill again.
Martinez, and those probably your bullpen guys today.
It has been such a tough putt for Bob Melvin managing that bullpen right now.
Meanwhile, on the other dugout, these may go down as the 2 days that sunk the 2023 Angels season.
And you saw you could see the curse moving from dugout to dugout.
Maybe even kind of transfer them from buyers to sellers.
Could be
at the trade deadline. It looks like Mike Trout won't be back until after the trade deadline in August because of the broken hamate suffered on Monday. And then yesterday, Shohei Ohtani, a blister, you figure he's going to get over that. But Rendon, not that he was doing a ton for them. I saw this stat was amazing. From the 8th inning on Monday through the, 6th inning yesterday, they had 44% of their payroll get hurt in those three guys.
It's unreal, man.
44% of not a insignificant payroll, at least. That's over $100 million worth of guys all going down in the span of about 6.5 innings of baseball for the Los Angeles Angels.
Obviously, if you love baseball, you love cool moments. And I thought two of the cooler moments that happened over the weekend, one came from Tom Cosgrove striking out Shohei Ohtani. And I thought it was one of those moments when I saw it live, I went, man, you're going to have that for the rest of your life, pal. You just struck out Shohei Ohtani, coming off the best month that a major leaguer has ever had in your life. I thought that was a really cool moment for Tom. Again, Bob even said, yeah, he was kind of a no-name when we had him in spring training, and now we're really counting on him for big outs. He got a huge one. And then, of course, Jake the Rake yesterday. First man in Major League Baseball history to get 3 extra base hits off Shohei Ohtani. And apparently, Ben, pettiness is a sexually transmitted disease because I'm off Twitter. My wife is not.
I saw her. She kept some receipts of people criticizing Jake this season.
Oh, man, her ears were red yesterday, just firing tweets.
Well, let's hope Jake can keep it up.
Well, he had a good series. He's had a good series so far.
Swinging it better.
Much better.
Not able to watch Padres games this week. Listen to live play-by-play from 97.3 The Fan. Free on the Odyssey app. Download Odyssey today to get started. Blackouts apply. I think Major League Baseball got the Padres all-star picks all wrong.
Oh, boy.
Get to that coming up next here on The Fan. All right, under the category of kind of stupid discussions, I am not going to be the person who says the Padres should have had 5 All-Stars. Their record doesn't justify it. It's almost a gift that they had 2 All-Stars over the weekend when on Sunday, Juan Soto and Josh Hader were named to the National League squad. Just feel like if you were going to pick 2 Padres All-Stars, you could have picked 2 more important players, better players for the Padres in the first half of the season than those 2 guys. And I realize I just defended Josh Hader's 1.15 ERA and 19 saves, and I don't know that there's, many better closers in the National League than Josh Hader. But in terms of Juan Soto, I know he has the best OPS on the Padres and has been really hot. To me, though, Fernando Tatis Jr. is a much more dynamic, all-star worthy player than Juan Soto. If you had to pick one or the other to represent the Padres, I'm going with Fernando Tatis Jr.
Well, of course.
I think every single time.
Well, and that's because he's going to be here forever, and that's our guy, and that's the guy that signed to a.
But I'm also looking at a national baseball perspective. The All-Star game is your showcase.
Well, but it's Juan Soto also. Like it's not like it was. It's. I mean, it's not like it was. I'm
not mad that Juan Soto's going, and
he's not our guy yet.
But
fully, right?
I do feel like baseball is missing an opportunity.
I mean, can't both be true? Like, can't Tatis be snubbed of the All-Star game and Juan Soto also be an All-Star?
Yeah.
It's just hard to make the argument. Well, the Padres then deserve 3 All-Stars. And because now you're starting to stretch things. They have a terrible record.
But Josh Hader, Juan Soto, and Fernando Tatis Jr. are All-Stars.
I agree.
And I kind of think Ha-Seong Kim is an All-Star. I mean,
is he just an All-Star to us?
Well, if you look at the B-WAR statistic, which analyzes who's the most valuable player to their team, Baseball Reference comes up with it. Ha-Seong Kim is not only the most valuable player to the Padres in B-WAR, he is second behind only Ronald Acuna Jr. in the entire National League. Now, that puts a lot of weight on defense, but defense is a really important part of the game. And yesterday, do the Padres win without Ha-Seong Kim?
Probably
he made 2
maybe not.
Fantastic plays, one in the 4th inning where ball was deflected. He had to go the other way, knock it down with his bare hand, pick it up, throw the guy out at first. And then as everything was unraveling in the 9th inning, the final play of the game, making that's not an easy play by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, that's a save game right there defensively for Ha-Seong Kim. That's just as valuable as, 15, 20 points of batting average. And by the way, his hitting, especially this last month and a half, has been great. Ha-Seong Kim has been an offensive force as well for the Padres.
He is severely underrated, and that's fine. You need guys on your team that are underrated because, well, conversely, we've got guys that are a bit overrated on our team right now as well. Honestly, I wish it goes back to, Ben, the belief in the team that has been waning, since the slow start and the feast or famine and win one, lose one. That, for me as a fan, yeah, man, it's fun as hell watching your guys in the All-Star game. But the bigger picture of trying to figure out a way in the second half to get into the dance, I'm like, let these guys shut it down. Let them get it back to neutral. Let them get away from the rigmarole of the All-Star game and all the pomp and circumstance. As fun as it is to see your guys in, when the bigger picture is to get to the playoffs, I don't
take Manny Machado, for example.
Yeah,
he's had a bad year.
I don't see anybody on that team where I'm like they couldn't use a little breather and get ramped up for the second half. That's selfish on my part. I get it.
Knowing that the players play a role in selecting the reserves, nobody would be surprised if they're like, Manny Machado is still one of the best third basemen in baseball. That's our guy. Like, let's get him out. Who among us would want Manny Machado going and playing in the All-Star game?
I know, and it's like this. When Soto said he might be in the home run derby, I was like, oh, God.
He has since said he is not.
Oh, did he? Oh,
good, yeah.
I did not see that
He
update.
has since said he will not be participating, which made me happy.
I missed that.
And credit to Manny, by the way, who made it all about Tatis after the reserves were announced. I like his quote was my favorite of the weekend. He said, it's some BS.
Yeah, it's some BS.
That Fernando Tatis Jr. is not going to the All-Star game. I like to see that from the captain. That's what you will look for from leadership. Guys looking out for other members of their team.
I don't know the question that was asked to Manny there. I saw that quote.
I'm not
I don't
sure
know what the
either.
question was, but was it in regards to what like Ken Rosenthal was
Yeah, so
spewing over the weekend.
So, yeah, I want to bring that up. And if you want to dial in for Take on Woods, we got a new prize, new getaway to Vegas this month, reset all of our qualifiers. So get in now, 833-288-0973. Play a little musical trivia against Woods here in a couple of minutes. 833-288-0973. Now is the time to call if you'd like to play. Yeah, Ken Rosenthal wrote a piece that didn't really have any basis in
fact,
evidence,
right,
other than the fact that Fernando Tatis Jr. didn't make the All-Star team, which the reserves are voted on by the players, and they did not choose him as one of the, I guess it would be 6 best outfielders in baseball, because the top 3 go, and then the next 3 are reserves as voted by the players. And he speculated that there would be some players who did not vote for him because of his positive steroid test. Didn't have any quotes from a player who said, I didn't vote for him.
Right.
But just speculated that might be a contributing factor.
Not even an anonymous quote. Not even like under the condition of anonymity, this national leaguer said, no way I'm voting for him. And I did like what Manny said about, look, he served his time and then some. And, when you screw up and you pay the price, he missed the playoffs last year, missed the playoff run, missed 20 games this season, put up pretty good numbers, all-star worthy numbers. And plus, for the game of baseball, you see it. You saw it in Cincinnati. Fans still love that kid. They run to him. All the kids still love him. They all want to be him. It's an exhibition game, and I do think he should be there too. I'm also not terribly mad that he's going to get a chance to rest if he doesn't end up being added as an injury replacement. Which he still very well may be there.
And adding to it, the attitude that he has shown coming back, dealing with hostile fans, dealing with, positive fans, dealing with it all, dealing with, teammates who Bob Melvin pointed it out over the weekend. He said, Tatis has been great. He's been easy. Wherever I want to put him in the lineup, it's like, great. I love hitting here. I love hitting everywhere else. Not said in that quote. And we learned it in spring training from the horses' mouths themselves.
Yes,
Juan
all of
Soto, Xander Bogaerts,
Manny,
kind of particular about where they hit. They don't want to be out of their comfort zone.
Isn't that great? The inferences we make, but because we know for a fact when he says it's what goes unsaid. When he says, "Oh, he never has a problem hitting where I want it to hit. He's never an issue for us," and it's like, yeah, we know Xander is, we know Juan is, we know Manny probably is too. They all have opinions on where they should hit, where they feel more comfortable, which, by the way, makes the manager's job 1,000 times harder. Again, it's juggling all of those guys, and also it's putting them in the best position to be successful.
Juan Soto is such a great number 2 hitter for modern baseball.
And he hates
can do everything, can go the other way,
can walk,
can hit with power if the leadoff guy gets on, can drive in runs, can start rallies. He's the ideal guy to be hitting second. Hates hitting second. And he's been doing it lately. Give him credit. He hasn't stomped his feet. He had that 5-hit game that I think Bob was like, "Oh, thank God it came in the second slot. Maybe we can get over this. I don't want to hit second thing." Yeah,
5 for 5, and then 3 for 3 in the next game in the 2-hole or something like that. 7 for 8, 8 for 8. Yeah, man. You do have to give him credit, right? Because again, if it's not somewhere he's super comfortable, he's doing a good job in it. But
he's reached base in 21 straight games now. And a lot of those have come out of the second hole, some of the third hole, but he's been there a lot. So,
yeah, and it's Fernando though for all his mistakes he's made in the past, and they shouldn't define who you are today. All you can do is obviously be better than you were. He's been phenomenal. He's been phenomenal to watch. Been phenomenal apparently to manage for Bob Melvin, and super proud of the way he's handled the first half.
All right, Shohei Ohtani had like the best June ever. Are you ready to have the best July in Take on Woods history?
Ready.
All right, it starts right now. John is going to be our first contestant this month, and our new prize, trying to qualify by beating or tying Woods for a 2-night stay at the Westgate Las Vegas and 2 tickets to Skid Row and Warrant with special guest Paralandra in the International Theater at the Westgate Las Vegas on September 30th. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino features newly designed premier rooms, part of their $70 million room renovations, home of legendary Vegas fun. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
All right, you know the rules, so let's get right to the categories. Your choices are this category, again, 5 song titles that all end in the word again. But who's counting? All about counting. And easy does it. All answers having something to do with the word easy. So this category, again, but who's counting? Or easy does it?
Easy does it.
Easy does it. All right. New category, new game, new month for John. We'll have 60 seconds. Answer as many as you can. If you don't know one, pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. We'll start. Paulie will play a few seconds of a well-known song. We call it our 2-second song. You will give me the title and the artist to score that point, and then we will go on from there. Paul, you let me know when you're ready. He is calling it up now. Again, the category is called Easy Does It. 60 seconds on the clock. John, your time begins when Paul starts our music. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
Peaceful, Easy Feeling, Eagles.
Correct. Philip Bailey from Earth, Wind, and Fire teamed up with Phil
Easy
Collins.
Lover.
Correct. Which godfather of gangster rap famously feuded with NWA cohorts?
Easy.
Correct. The original version by the Crickets was long forgotten, but Linda Ronstadt rocked with which preppy 1977 hit?
Pass.
What part of the week is easy in a Commodore song written by Lionel Richie?
Sunday morning.
Correct. The original version by the Crickets is long forgotten, but Linda Ronstadt rocked with which peppy 1977 hit?
Dead Air.
Dead Air.
I don't know.
You got all of them except that one.
Flew through.
We'll let the time run out because you had plenty of it there for your last one, but you got 4 right, which is very good. Time is up. All right, yeah, you got Peaceful, Easy Feeling, Easy Lover, Easy E, and Easy Like Sunday Morning. It's So Easy by Linda Ronstadt. It's so easy to fall in love. Actually, one of my favorites.
I think 4 is going to be a good
4
score
is a good
today.
score here. I wouldn't be shocked if Woods got them all. We'll see. Hang on the line, John. Good start to the month, though. All right, Woods doesn't get the category. Does make it tougher for him. Paulie going to reset our 2-second song. Let's put 60 seconds back on the clock. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on John.
Peaceful, Easy Feeling by the Eagles.
Correct. Philip Bailey from Earth, Wind, and Fire teamed up with Phil Collins of Genesis for which 1984 hit?
Is that Easy Lover?
Correct. Which godfather of gangster rap famously feuded with NWA cohorts Ice Cube and Dr. Dre before dying of AIDS in 1995?
Easy E.
Correct. The original version by the Crickets is long forgotten, but Linda Ronstadt rocked which peppy 1977 hit?
Pass.
Which part of the week is easy in a Commodore song written by Lionel Richie?
Sunday morning.
Correct. The original version by the Crickets, long forgotten, but Linda Ronstadt rocked which peppy 1977 hit?
Something easy. Linda Ronstadt. Crickets. Buddy Holly and the Crickets. Easy.
10 seconds.
These nuts are easy.
Oh, you were so close, but no. But that was, he played almost the identical game as John. John got the 4, you got like this.
Damn.
Could not come up with It's So Easy by Linda Ronstadt.
I
do too. I think it's a good one.
It's fantastic.
It's so easy to fall in love. It's so easy to fall.
I didn't know that was the Crickets.
It's so easy. It's so easy. I didn't know it either. But I can kind of hear it now that I
can
how I hear her singing it as well.
By
Well, that's
the way,
a tie, John.
Easy Lover kicks ass.
I agree
it's
too.
Really good.
John, you qualify. You are in early in the month of July. You don't get the Daily Diddy. You don't get the outright win. Woods, I don't know. You can even tie again to have a record-setting month though. Now you've got your tie out of the belt. You haven't lost.
Tie's a
Tie's
win.
a tie.
Ask a soccer fan.
Tie's a win
dude.
for the listener.
Oh,
tie's not a win for you.
Tell Woods what we're playing for.
I keep a ditty.
Oh yeah, we're playing for tickets to Skid Row, Warrant, and special guest Carol Andra.
What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
No.
Where are they playing?
At the Westgate, Las Vegas.
September 30th.
I didn't know you'd have this.
And Warren?
How did you know you'd have this reaction?
I had a feeling. I saw that.
All right. Listen.
When I saw that was the July
Oh my God.
prize.
I'll throw games if you take me with you. Okay, if you win, I will throw these games, but I'm going with you to go see
Roger
Skid
Goodell
Row.
is going to suspend you for that.
Fine.
What you need to do is you need to make a deal with John because he's in the month now
Yeah,
for
he's
July.
John's in.
And then you need to dominate.
Beat everybody else.
Beat everybody
so John
else.
wins,
You can't lose.
and then John automatically goes.
But I need some assurance that
Yeah,
I
you-
get to go.
John, you still there?
Honestly, they are not my jam.
Settle down. All right, settle down. All right, you know what? Settle down. They get a bad rap. All right. You know, I mean,
Well, you
John,
still can
don't-
go to Las Vegas
You don't
and have
have,
a good
you don't
time.
have to go
Bring
to the
someone who
show.
it is their jam.
Yeah, you don't have to go to the show.
There you go. That's
Get a
not
free
that's,
trip to
you get a
Vegas.
free trip to Vegas.
Better
either
than
way.
a sharp stick in the eye. Oh my God, Skid Row and Warren.
All right, we got don't and
Yes!
do this coming up next. Great moment for a friend of the show that
Just-
we had on recently
just
for do this.
Beautiful.
Looking forward to that. It's coming up next after checking traffic with Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan.
For Don't Do This.
What were you thinking?
3 stories from the world of sports that make us all shake our heads.
Why? How many times do I have to tell you?
I'm sorry, I fudged up, guys.
You idiot. You moron.
The apple sometimes does fall from the tree.
Don't Do This
Do not tweet that.
with Ben and Woods
I like a Nickelback song or two.
on 97.3 The Fan.
Got Adam Jones scheduled to join us from. Should I spoil it or should we wait?
Let's wait.
Where in the world Adam Jones
Yeah,
is
just
today?
wait.
New location. I'll just say, new location for Adam Jones today. He was in Greece last week. Not in Greece anymore.
He's working his way to the West Coast.
He's
He'll
heading
be at the
yes,
All-Star
he's
game.
heading in this direction.
What a life.
All right, I will start Don't Do This today with a story from the running world. At a 4th of July road race yesterday, 10K, the Peachtree Road Race in Atlanta, Georgia, where on the women's side, Ethiopia's Senberi Teferi was the heavy favorite to repeat. Champion in 2022, looking to be the champion in 2023. They were down to the final meters of the race. The finish line was dead ahead, and Teferi had a fairly comfortable lead. I don't know, looked like 30, 40 meters in front of the second best runner in the race. However, during
she was going to
win, no doubt about it. Unless she tripped and fell.
She was in the chute.
She was uncatchable. Yeah, she was in the final where the fans were starting to gather. Throughout the whole race, though, in order to make sure the runners were safe, there was a motorcycle police escort that was riding in front of all of the runners. Their lights on and everything. They were kind of guiding the route that was marked along the path. Well,
maybe 20 yards in front of her, 30 yards, like just
right
a little
before
bit.
the finish line, there was a turn, and the motorcycle, as they were supposed to do, they're not supposed to cross the finish line of the tape. They pulled off to the right into the street.
Turned.
She followed the motorcycle to the right, and before she could realize it, she ran like 20, 30 meters down the road. They went, no, turn around. By the time she turned around, 2 runners had passed her, and she ended up finishing third in the race that she was guaranteed to win. The organizers felt bad. They said it was part of the instructions, but they said we failed in not being clear enough about what that was supposed to happen, and they could be better next year.
She'd been following it was 26.2 miles. She had been following this motorcycle for 26.1 and a half.
But
you just get zoned in, right?
Yeah, you're just locked in and you're not focused on anything else but step by step.
Probably like using it to help pull you through. Like if I just focus on this,
stay this far behind them the whole time,
then I'm going to win this.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The only thing that I can ask the question is, why not just make her the champion? You know she was going to win. What would be your policy on that? I mean, it was her fault. She went the wrong way, but she was going to win.
You can't assume a double play.
Yeah,
can't
assume a double play.
Tough.
Ouch.
That is a tough scene. I was looking for a Don't Do This story, and something popped up from June 29th, and I go, well, this has kind of been buried. Because no one cares in the NFL if people get popped for PEDs. I'm not advocating for PEDs. I'm just saying that there's a pretty gnarly double standard in every other sport but baseball as it pertains to PEDs. Talking about Jags left tackle Cam Robinson, suspended 4 games by the NFL, so a quarter of the season. That's a lot. That's a quarter of the season for violating the league's PED policy. He can participate in camp and preseason. Can return to the active roster on October 2nd. His quote was, as a veteran leader in the locker room, I always want to set a good example. My actions in this instance are not a reflection of that goal. I apologize to my fans, my coaches, most importantly, my teammates. It hurts me. I can't be out there with my brothers. I will attack training camp the same way I have for the last 6 seasons to make sure I'm both ready mentally and physically. I think the point is every time Fernando Tatis Jr. takes the field, it's mentioned every single time, or really any violator.
Now, what if football
football
was more like baseball and they were just as long memoried about steroids as they were in baseball? Would that be okay with you, or you wish baseball was kind of like football? Serve your time.
Yeah, if
it's over, go on.
I mean,
with life.
It's. Will we hear? If I don't know, I'm not planning on watching many Jags games, but if somebody out there is a huge Jags fan, and the announcers, national, local, if they mention it more than twice this year, send me the audio and I'll give you $50 because I just don't think they're going to say, here comes Cam Robinson fresh off of his PED suspension. It just doesn't. It's just this weird sacred thing in baseball where seemingly in other sports it's like, well, who can get away with it? It's very odd.
So they'll have the Hall of Fame football induction class this August that's already been announced. Next year, Antonio Gates is among the candidates.
Oh,
he, of course, served a PED suspension late in his career.
You will not hold him out of there.
Don't hear much talk that he won't make the Hall of Fame.
By the way, he should be a Hall of Famer.
Correct.
Should be.
All right, finally, a little do this. I think it was about a month ago that Sarah Langs joined our show, baseball analyst, and was diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, a couple of years ago and made it public. And she has been fighting the good fight and spreading the word and raising awareness and raising money to fight ALS since then. And really nice moment yesterday is the 84th anniversary of Lou Gehrig's famous luckiest man on the face of the earth speech. They honored it at Yankee Stadium, and they did so by having Sarah and her family out. She got to exchange lineup cards. She was part of a news conference, and then her parents got to throw out the ceremonial first pitch before a New York Yankees game. All very cool. Well done by the Yankees. Well done by Major League Baseball. And the entire community that has rallied around Sarah has been fantastic.
We've got the Sarah Langs ALS star. It's in our studio. You can see it right behind Paulie on the YouTube feed. You can watch us at youtube.com, search Ben and Woods. But yeah, we have that star in our studio, and it will stay lit as long as we are in here for sure. We love Sarah. My wife wore the shirt yesterday. It's just the baseball is the best shirt. It's just a very, very it makes you never want to complain about one single thing in your life. And I know that I'm very guilty. But you see what she does and deals with on a daily basis. You're like, all right, I need a little perspective in my life. And she's just an incredible human. Incredible. And I thought the gesture yesterday by the Yankees was unreal. Unreal.
And that is Don't and Do This for a Wednesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Where in the world is Adam Jones? What does he think about the Padres' recent play, the All-Star game coming up? We'll talk with the five-time All-Star himself when Ben and Woods continues on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. And this hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by SC Johnson Raid. Meanwhile, Grangetto's Farm and Garden Supply teaming up with 93 The Fan to give one lucky listener the chance to win a luxury suite for 20 people to the upcoming game on Monday, September 18th versus Colorado. Visit 973thefan.sd.com/garden for details to enter to win.
Got a question for you.
Yeah, you ask him.
What is 93 The Fan?
Who
93
is
The Fan.
93 The Fan?
97.3 The Fan?
Yeah.
93 The Fan.
Vacation Ben is here.
Shorthand.
Hold on.
Why do you have
Remix.
to say it every single time? 7.3 The Fan.
Yeah, 97.
93
Name
The
of the
Fan.
radio
97 The Fan.
We don't call you Bear Higgins or Bear Hig.
All three letters are important.
Yeah, just Ben Higgins.
Whatever.
93 The Fan slays me every single time. 93 The Fan.
Sometimes I just get a little breezy.
Yeah, you
I
do.
blow past
Yeah,
things that I shouldn't blow past.
Adam Joe joins us
Adam
next.
Joe. Correct.
And he is standing by coming up after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the premier auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the San Diego County Sheriff's Department. Getting back to it on a Wednesday morning after a nice 4-day holiday weekend for a lot of folks. In fact, might be a good idea to be extra alert, maybe give yourself a little extra time on the roads this morning because a lot of folks might be recovering from 4th of July festivities. Fortunately, no problems on our roads at this time. The San Diego County Sheriff's Department is working hard to keep San Diego safe and is now hiring. The Sheriff's Department offers rewarding careers with growth and has an opportunity for anyone with integrity that wants to make a difference. Go to joinstsheriff.net to learn more. That's joinstsheriff.net. And Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Well, he's joined us from Spain many times, France, Greece, Germany, all over the world. He is a globe-trotter. He is 5-time All-Star Adam Jones, and he's somewhere new today, joining us here on 97.3 The Fan on our premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, man. How about yourself?
I got no complaints on
97.3.
I know.
Thank you.
Show here, so I was listening to you.
Yeah. And where are you today?
I'm in the Hamptons.
Oh, my
I'm in
God.
the Union, so I'm in the Hamptons being bougie. My pinky finger is up as I drink my coffee.
The Hamptons.
Ina Garten, Martha Stewart,
Yeah,
Adam
Jones.
Very
It's like
nice.
a myth in my head. I hear Stern talk about Howard Stern talk about the Hamptons all the time, and I'm like, this is unbelievable. What's it like out there?
It's bougie.
Yeah.
But did you see Michael Rubens? He has the all-white party.
Yeah.
All-white party every year. And like it's a few houses down, and I ain't get no invite. But I ain't get no invite to that.
You can just.
Paulie was going. I wonder if he got to go to that all white party. They just had it with
Tom
Leo and Tom Brady.
Brady,
And there's so many
Kim
celebrities
Kardashian.
who were there.
You sit on your roof and watch.
If you see them in town, if you're driving in town, you'll see everybody, and it's cool out here. It's different. No one cares. There's no pictures, and there's no, hey, can you sign this? You'll see Leonardo DiCaprio in town, and he's getting a coffee. And the other day, see Michael Rubin and Robert Kraft. Yeah, Bob Roberts.
Yeah, Bob.
Seeing them just having coffee like normal people. So it out here, it just humanizes people and lets them put their hair down, and it's extremely.
All right, so Adam, I got a question for you. You're heading to Seattle, I believe, for the All-Star game coming up. You're a 5-time All-Star yourself. I'm sure it was a thrill, an incredible honor the first time you went. Maybe the second, even the third. Did you ever get to the point where it's like, God, I kind of wish I could have these 3 days off as opposed to going and playing in the All-Star game?
Not for me, no.
Okay.
Because I relished every opportunity. Because when you're at the Orioles, you don't necessarily get all the representation. So I always was excited to go. They got a little bit more expensive as I made the 3rd and 4th and 5th. As my mom is like, I need a plane from here.
That's right.
I was like, Mom, you can fly commercial. No, not for the All-Star game. And I got to show up in style. Like, what? You show up in style in first class. No. I need pictures of the airport. So it just gets more expensive. But you got guys like Trout. Unfortunately, Trout just broke his hammy. But like guys like him, going to the All-Star game for the 10th time is an accomplishment. It's awesome. But to play in it again, doesn't need it. And, it's kind of it's not a blessing at all. But by him breaking his hand, he doesn't have to go to the All-Star game. He's saving himself by 2 jets back and forth. But I think you have to relish this because, especially in this new era, there's so many first timers every single year. When I was calling up my first All-Star game, I was with Ichiro, Derek Jeter, Mariano, Big Papi, guys who were 10-time All-Stars. Now that's so rare. So I think you just have to cherish these new guys, first-time guys, and like Haters. I think it's his 5th. Like he's the big boy at him now. So you just got to relish every opportunity because it's the best of the best. There's always snubs, but the All-Star game is the best of the best.
It's pretty cool. I saw a thing. We're talking to our pal Adam Jones here on Ben and Woods this morning. I saw a thing last year. Pete Alonso, who I think he's a great baseball player. I do. We give him a lot of grief because he's a little corny. He's Pete. But you take that guy on your team every single day. I thought it was pretty cool, man. Last year they're showing Ron Washington, a brilliant coach for the Braves, working with Pete Alonso at first base. Showing him a couple tricks of the trade, which is fascinating. Mm-hmm. I mean, those two teams battle all the time, but it goes to show you baseball is truly bigger than any team or any person. I thought that was a really cool thing that I saw last year. How much goes on of picking guys' brains when you're there? And if so, who did you talk to when you were there?
Well, a lot of brain picking happens. A lot of it. It's crazy. My 2009 All-Star game, that was the All-Star game that Roy Halladay I remember vividly, was talking to Mariano for 20 minutes.
Yep.
Next thing I know, I get to face Halladay after the All-Star break. He's throwing a cutter. He didn't throw a cutter yet. He was sinker, 4-seam, curveball, slider. Now he's got a cutter. And him and Mariano was sitting out there talking. Me, I got to take ground balls with Derek Jeter. I was the young guy trying to relish all of it.
Yeah.
I didn't have on with Griffey. My outfielders were Granderson, Bautista, Trout. So I never had the older guy who was taking me under his wing. But I sat there and got to pick brains and talk to everybody because for 48 hours we're teammates. 48 hours. So it'd be incredibly smart for Peter Alonso to go to Ron Washington because he sees Freeman Gold Glove,
Matt Olson,
Gold Glove, Gold Glove. Their whole defense is unbelievable and always has been. Everywhere Ron Washington has been, his defense has been great. It would do Pete, who is a solid first baseman, to go learn a little bit more tricks of the trade. That's right there is called intelligence. If you got a guy that's a Hall of Fame bound guy or just who's really good you look up to, it'd be dumb not to go and try and seek a look at advice, especially All-Star game. If it's during the season, I'm not going to give you my secrets. In the All-Star game, I might give you a few of the nuggets because, okay.
Talking to Adam Jones here on 97.3 The Fan. And what's your view in terms of the All-Star game? Is it a showcase for the stars of the sport, or is it just a reward for having a good first half? Manny Machado said it's BS that Fernando Tatis Jr. isn't there. I saw people arguing that Ellie De La Cruz, who we saw over the weekend, has only been a big leaguer for 3 weeks, should be there because he's representing the best of the sport right now. How do you view that, Adam?
Well, to that with Ellie De La Cruz, I was there when Trout and Harper made the All-Star team in 2012. Again, they're both phenomenal and had the numbers, but they both had 6 weeks in the big leagues. But both made the All-Star team based on the media, based on the fans, and again, the hype was real. So, you're talking about you want excitement. Yes, I can see that. Tatis not making the All-Star game is just politically stupid. Come on. Okay, I get what he did, but his numbers suggest that he's a damn good player. He's an All-Star. That's a snub, but again, that shows that there's a power above us all when it comes to these kind of decisions. So, some players might have been like, I don't want to have him there because what he did last year or whatever. I think it's total crap. He should have 100% been there. But it's always going to be like that. It's always going to be a snub. All you got to do is, okay, he needs to just come out second hand, and all the people that that didn't vote for him, other players, just beat them between the lines.
Well, let me ask you this, Adam, since you have been in the locker rooms and you know this. I mean, when you see Fernando on the field, obviously he's playing with a lot of joy, playing with a lot of passion. He always has. And he's done a really, really nice job moving to right field. Bob Melvin spoke about him this weekend, said He never complains where I hit him, inferring that some of the other guys do. He said he's willing to do whatever. When you see him get on first base, everybody's chatting him up. He's chatting with the guys at second base. He's chatting with the guys at third base. He's chatting with the fans in the outfield. Do you think that there's, as Ken Rosenthal called it, basically some not conspiracy, but do you think that there's sour grapes amongst other players that are like, haha, watch this. I'm going to make him. We
hear all the time, the players police the game.
The players police the game. Exactly. Like,
yeah.
Do you think that they are the ones that truly kept him out of there?
I do. And the players police the game. In this era, previous eras, they did it a lot better. But yeah, the players police it 100%. And the thing with Fernando is that you've been around him. He has just this aura about him. He does. Energy. It's this smile. It's like when I was around him in Mexico, I'm just like, I feel good being around you, man. It's like I want to get out there and play. It's like it's such an energy rush when you're around him, and other players feel that, especially between the lines during the game while it's going on. But when in the clubhouse and you have time to not be around that energy, then that's when the players are like, oh well, he did this, we don't like this. Let's make him fully understand what he did. And it's all BS. You know what I mean?
How long though?
That's a country club crap.
Like
it shouldn't have been out at all. He should be an all-star, right? If somebody was an all-star, he should be. If somebody is going to go down, he should be the first one to go. Julio Rodriguez is an all-star. Again, he's hosting it as a Seattle.
Yep.
His numbers not better than Fernando Tatis.
No kidding. And so how long will this go on? Is this something he's going to have to wear the rest of his career? And the only way he makes an all-star team is if the Padre fans vote him in droves?
No, I think it's just a one and done. Hopefully, because his talent needs to be displayed on the great stage.
That's interesting. Is he in the bathroom?
He'd rather be playing in the postseason rather than the All-Star.
100%. That's what we all said too. We're all like, man, we hate it, but we really don't hate it. We're really happy to see these guys get a few days off. Like
get him a
yeah.
I've just seen him throw last night. Take a break. Like even Ohtani, he got the blister. He's not. That's just an easy built-in excuse.
Yep.
It's just like I'm done. Shut me down for 10 days. Let me just relax a little bit. I'll hit. I don't have to throw. And it's just these tactics that they do, and it's smart. But like I said, the Angels, I feel bad for those three. The monster got hurt all at the same time.
Yeah, it was gnarly.
So
it's such. You want to see Trout play. You want to see Rendon play.
Yep.
So let me get to one more question here before we're kind of losing your signal a little bit. But we had AJ Preller on the show on Friday morning. He said, "Hey, the roster's my responsibility. The Padres struggling. It's on me." But then he didn't say much about anything else, the whys, the what he's going to do about it. He just kind of went on. And then Peter Seidler this weekend gave an interview with the UT, calling AJ basically still his guy. An example of excellence, believes in him 100% going forward. Where do you place your, kind of blame and responsibility for this disappointing first half the San Diego Padres had this year?
Well, the responsibility has to go where the numbers go. And right now, they're not a good team with men in score position. I was having a conversation last night here that I was watching the game. It's like, but they created so many opportunities. So I'm happy they create opportunities. We're not happy that they are failing in the situations. But everything else they're doing good. They play solid defense. The pitching has been great. Can't argue that. The one thing is that the men in scoring position. But they're creating the situation. So I'm happy about that. But we're disappointed that they're not executing. That takes time. That takes maybe a little bit more concentration. And I was texting with Manny the other day. He's like, man, I can't buy a hit. He just had a last multi-hit games and back-to-back games.
Hitting much better.
So it's sometimes maybe you needed to hear from me that, hey man, you clean it up. Maybe you know what I'm saying? Maybe you need to hear things like that. Like,
tell me
that
you texted him that. Tell me tell me that's exactly what you texted Manny. Clean it up.
Oh yeah. I was like, Manny, you're the superstar, bud. Clean it up a little bit, man. And but you need to hear that outside. Now if a fan told him that, that's an easy little thing.
Yeah, if we told him that, we get such a withering stare.
Clean it up, Manny.
Couldn't even believe it.
Come on, Manny, clean it up, buddy. Oh, I shudder.
But I'm talking to him. It's like, hey, let's go. You got it. You got it. Let's go. Because I can talk to him in a different way, in a different tone, because I can reach him in a different way. And every day, I think every time I see him in a little bit of a slump, I'm gonna text him, man. You got to take it.
Yeah, please do. Please do. We need
I'm
you.
gonna text everybody.
We need
I'm
you
gonna text
for
Flaherty too to get on their butts too.
I'm gonna text you about your phone connection.
Yeah,
after
just
this.
go enjoy a nice little cafe, maybe a scone or something, whatever they got going there in the Hamptons, and we'll chat with you next week. Enjoy the All-Star game too.
Will do.
Thanks,
Service
buddy.
is never good in the Hamptons.
That's what I just saw on the text there on the feed. The Hampton cell service is notoriously bad.
Well, you say that. Camille puts in the chat. That's not connection. That's a bad mic. He's probably walking around talking on his earbuds.
We had him connected via Zoom.
Educate guests.
Oh, it's Zoom.
Educate
it's the internet.
Educate guests on what produces good audio.
Yeah, producer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Educate. Yeah, just tell us what we need to do
Would
better.
he be better on the phone? I wonder. But I guess that the cell service is crap.
Sometimes
typically we usually get better audio on Zoom.
You say that, and it's kind of playing the percentages. It's like baseball. You lefties, righties, and you get better results usually with Zoom. But when it goes bad, it can go real bad.
It goes real bad.
It's hard to adjust on the fly in the middle of an interview.
In 40 minutes, we'll have Jordan Schusterman via Zoom.
It'll sound great.
And he has a mic. He's at his home studio. Like, it will sound much better. Adam was walking around, it sounded like, or on his AirPods.
In
or
a
whatever.
well, perhaps.
Maybe he's in a well.
He could be in a well.
I think they do have wells.
I'm
maybe
sure
in the
they
Hamptons,
do.
So he was with us either way on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet find new roads.
I enjoyed it.
He did say, he just texted me, he said, service in the Hamptons is trash.
And he said before, obviously runners in scoring position has been a main issue for the Padres, but now they are being exposed for the lack of depth that is hurting them. End of the lineup, the bullpen, the lack of depth is a real issue for the Padres. It wasn't what really started the whole ball rolling this season. I don't think the lack of depth is why they played under 500 baseball in the first half, but it's why they probably won't be able to dig themselves out of it.
Right.
Even if they do start hitting with runners in scoring position, my suspicion is the lack of depth will prevent them from going on the massive run they need to go on. Now, if you never put yourself in the position of having to go on a massive run, you can lose a game every few days because
your bullpen needs a reset.
Yeah. That's fine. But when you're 6 games under 500 and you need to win 9 out of 10, all of a sudden you don't have the luxury of getting those, hey, depth reset games. It's okay. We'll drop this one. We'll take, 3 of the next 4. We'll be fine. That's just, now you're just basically treading water and slowly climbing back to 500. They have to do better than that the rest of the season.
I don't want to be negative on this Wednesday that feels like a Monday, but it's very true, Ben. It's a very, very astute point that you make, and it's very patchwork right now down in the bullpen, and unless reinforcements arrive soon, it's going to be that way.
I just asked about Peter Seidler's comments. We need to get into that.
Yeah,
what the owner of the Padres did say actually made me feel better for a little bit as well. We'll see. We'll talk about it next on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we are halfway home on a Wednesday here on Ben and Woods. Good to be back with you guys, man. Really, really good to be back in here. Talking Padres baseball with you. You know, it's how we've always been as a show. We have never changed. It's the first day we took the airwaves till right now, right? It's never been just, let's talk about the pods when the pods are good. We always, since the day we started, been talking Padres baseball. It's what we love to talk about the most. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. It's our executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning.
To my left is the very svelte and skinny and handsome and cool.
And cold.
Cold Ben Higgins. If you missed it, the open today, this is how Paul and I were welcomed back from vacation. Ben walked in and he goes, I don't know if it's just the fact that I've lost so much weight, but I'm very cold now. As opposed to you two hogs that are still suffering and sweating because of the thick layers of blubber that you have. I embellished the end of it, but the gist, you get the gist of what it was.
You can read between the lines.
Yeah, we
knew what he was saying.
I've earned it. I've worked hard these last few weeks, eating better.
Have you worked hard or have you just stopped eating?
But
Are you
that is
starving
working
yourself?
hard to me. No, I'm not that hungry, but I've given up, a lot of foods that I enjoy, bread, sweets, things like that. And had a nice piece of mahi-mahi on some cauliflower rice with some salsa yesterday. It was outstanding.
I had mahi last night.
Really delicious, actually. But yeah, I've, healthy eating, and I've dropped now 23 pounds since I started. So.
He's going to be insufferable. This newfound swagger. I like it. I'm all for it.
Thank you.
Well, I want you to be healthy. You work 18 hours a
day. Feel
better
too, yeah.
Good, yes.
Definitely good. Back's feeling better. Lots of positive changes that I've made recently.
That's fantastic for you. I'm essentially falling apart.
Totally cheating this weekend, though, on my third vacation. So.
Yeah, vacation coming up. It's going to be me and Paulie holding down the fort Friday and Monday. Without Benjamin, you're going to be in?
Santa Barbara area.
Santa Barbara, the old Higgins family vacation.
Correct.
Are you looking forward to it?
Oh, very much so, because I have circled it as my cheat weekend for my diet. So.
Don't go off the rails.
Oh, I don't think I can. I get full much faster now. I've kind of adjusted my hunger levels, so there's no way I could eat like I had been eating before.
That's good. I'm proud of you. So I'm also very jealous.
But I will be.
I'll be
having a little bites of dessert and stuff that I've denied myself.
Yeah, we talked about it. Microdosing desserts is the proper way to go. Well, this is what we're in for, Paulie. This is what we're in for. Skinny Ben, a revelation.
So went to the game yesterday.
Yeah, beautiful day.
Didn't see Peter Seidler. It was a great game, but we have not had a chance to discuss comments that he made, published in the Union Tribune over this past weekend, talking about his team's disappointing first half of the season, and maybe not what everyone was expecting. I certainly didn't think that Peter Seidler was going to come out and start threatening jobs and stomping his feet and saying, hey, we're making huge changes if things don't turn around immediately. That is not Peter Seidler's style at all. However, the length to which he went to continue to heap praise on his front office and brain trust maybe surprised me a little bit. Just how 100% committed he, at least seemingly, remains to AJ Preller, the plan, the course of action, the way the San Diego Padres organization is being run right now.
The perspective that he offers, again, made me, I'm not going to speak for all fans out there, but it did make me feel like a huge a-hole when he says, this stuff does not make me angry. He said, when asked how often he's grown exasperated in the past 3 months, quote, when people abuse a homeless person who has a problem that is not his or her fault, that makes me angry. And again, I thought, I stopped and I had pause and I thought, and I said, yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That's both things can be true. I also get upset when homeless people are abused. Very much so. It affects me deeply. That said, I'm also very exasperated by the San Diego Padres, and I don't stroke the checks at all. It doesn't cost me. It costs me money to support the team, but I'm not out of my own kick, writing checks to Tom Cosgrove or Drew Carlton. I'm not. I couldn't afford a tenth of a player on the San Diego Padres. So he says this is a joy. It really is. I mean, he's literally saying, just enjoy the ride, you guys, as bumpy as the ride may be. He said, I lean into the losing because I want to reverse it so bad. I want to learn what I can and ask the right questions. But these guys are giving their all. And then, again, like you said, talks about the front office. And this is the only part of the interview that actually it rankled me.
I had two quotes that at least raised my eyebrows a little bit. One was the Padres have proven, San Diego has proven that we can run an elite franchise. Now we've got to back that up with a little more winning. Can you be an elite franchise without having the winning that goes along with it? Certainly the Padres, in terms of game day experience, running Petco Park,
sellout,
as good as it gets in Major League Baseball. Everyone around baseball pretty much acknowledges that San Diego has become the gold standard in terms of game day experience, food offerings, the ballpark, the quality, keeping up Petco Park. But can you be an elite franchise when you have gotten to 2 World Series in 54 years and not one in quarter of a century, and your most recent playoff run, you did go to the NLCS, but that's pretty much been it in a full season over the last decade and a half?
Yeah, he says, his patience, Kevin says in his article, his patience well beyond the norm for someone so emotionally invested in the team's fortunes. This is the one that got me.
Yeah.
Quote, that's the very interesting thing about professional sports. You have a couple of bad months, and fans or the media say, you got to fire this guy. It's crazy to me, absolutely crazy. I think he was talking about A.J. Preller in that quote. And, I respect Peter immensely, and I respect more than his baseball acumen and his ability to spend and willingness to spend. I do respect what he does for the city. That's the legacy beyond, baseball, right? The human side of Peter Seidler. I respect him immensely.
Well, I respect what he's done for the Padres,
that too.
Even this struggling season.
But the
excitement, the level of talent that he's allowed the Padres to bring in is remarkable.
But the couple bad months part is where I look at it, and that gave me a little bit of pause. And we had AJ on Friday, and we asked him those questions. Listen, Ben, you're talking about 9 years in a job, and you're not even a 500. Your team hasn't been 500 in that time. And I know they're trying to build something, and they have been building something. But again, when you look at the product on the field, it's more now than just not hitting with runners in scoring position. It is a severe lack of depth on the San Diego Padres right now as it stands today. Now, hey, man, some good news maybe on the horizon. Campy's doing some rehab. Suarez doing some rehab. But yeah, that could change things, and that happens. And I hope, believe me, nobody hopes they turn it around more than I do. And I think that they can. I do. But they need some help. They need some help now. So if this season ends like this, 5-6 games below 500, Ben, I just don't see the excellence there that he's talking about.
I know you get frustrated when I play the what if game sometimes because it's usually from a overly positive standpoint, but I'm going to play it the other way just once to show you how close things are to really being bad. If you look at AJ's tenure with the Padres, what if Joe Musgrove had a bad day against the Mets last October,
right,
and they lost that game in the first round? Turn one game around. How do you evaluate last season? As a somewhat disappointing regular season, snuck into the playoffs, and then got knocked out in a 3-game series. Pretty dang disappointing. Now that didn't happen, and they played well in the postseason.
You still look at it as it's a building block.
It wasn't necessarily a killer year for the Padres until they went on a run.
So they won 2 series.
Look back at even the short season where they played really well in the 60 gamer, but they had to come from behind to save that wild card series against the Cardinals. They got swept by the Dodgers.
You had Craig Stammen on the bump in the last.
And then outside of that, there's been nothing positive to point at during AJ Preller's tenure, at least on the major league level on the field. And that's a little troubling.
And that's, again, if it's a numbers-based business and these players are evaluated on their numbers like you wouldn't believe. I mean, ask any player that's been to arbitration how he's treated. And I know that's one thing about this organization. They just don't do that, which is great. I love that about them. They don't do that. They don't go through the rigmarole of taking a guy in and, talking about his family and stuff, like when he's just trying to go out and win ball games.
If you're gonna have a $250 million payroll, let's not quibble over the last $800,000 in arbitration.
That's exactly right.
Let's make our players
happy,
feel good about themselves, and support it.
Great way to handle business, and I love being a fan of a team that does that. That being said, if it's a numbers-based organization and guys are being cut, DFA'd based on their numbers and whatnot, Ben, then that number of a 465 winning percentage over 9 years, hey, man, like I said, I want him to turn it around. I do. I don't. It's not like I have somebody in the wings that's going to be better and do a better job. I don't, man. I don't. I just know right now. Like to blame the media and say the media wants him fired. It's not even it. It's just maybe you could. I'm not even saying fire him. Maybe just delegate more. Maybe have some help. You know, asking for help is not a bad thing at all. And having a guy that can take some stuff off your plate so you don't have to be doing all the things that you do could really help this team.
Now, Peter Seidler doesn't get to where he is at without having some wisdom and making some good decisions. And I can hear people yelling, he was the grandson of an O'Malley and he was born into money. And yeah, he had some advantages to be sure, but not every O'Malley grandchild is where Peter Seidler is. He's made a lot of good business decisions. He's a very smart guy. You can tell that by just talking to him.
Give me $100 million and see how good I do.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to go well.
So this quote I thought was interesting. I'm not afraid to make changes. I never have been, but I really value stability.
He does.
And when I know the person as well and the skill set as well as I know AJ and Eric Grupner, they're not going anywhere, period. I believe in stability. It's something that is undervalued, generally speaking, in organizations and maybe particularly in sports franchises. But I'm not for mediocre stability. I'm for excellence. And to me, AJ is excellence.
I thought the Bob Melvin stuff was a little more telling than even I felt like AJ Preller on our show on Friday gave a bigger vote of confidence to Bob Melvin than Peter Seidler did.
I agree.
I mean, 100%. He says, first, I love Bob Melvin. Bob is pushing every button he knows how to push. And that's all I can ask. I respect him. I trust him. But I can say that about a lot of people that work under AJ and a lot of people that work under Eric. I don't stick my nose in those things. I'm a sounding board for both of those guys. He expects Melvin to get us to the playoffs again, but stop short of guaranteeing his job security. What's the point in saying that? Bob is one of the great managers in our game. I'll leave it there. As well as being a great guy and trusted a human being, as you'll find. But we're talking about a job here. I'm like, that doesn't – if I'm Bob Melvin –
that's managers are hired to be fired in owner speak, right?
If I'm Bob Melvin, I'm getting my LinkedIn profile just dialed in. I'm not doing anything. I'm not resubscribing, but I'm getting it dialed in.
2 paragraphs before that, it's, AJ's my guy, period.
The end.
He ain't going anywhere.
Right.
And then Bob –
he's a good dude.
I love Bob.
I love Bob.
It also shows you that he really does – let AJ do what he wants with the team. He's not if AJ said, I'm firing Bob, Peter would probably go,
okay,
why do you think that? But ultimately would just nod and go, okay, if you think that's best for the team. And if AJ says, no, I think Bob's the right manager, Peter's not going to come in and say, are you sure? I know. He'd go, yeah, okay, if that's what you think. Peter Seidler has ceded everyday control of baseball to his president of baseball operations and general manager. In a lot of ways, that's what you hope for as a fan, that your owner is not a meddler, that he empowers his people to do their jobs and then lets them go out and do it without coming in and tinkering and, overriding decisions and stopping you from doing trades and moves that you want to do. That's what you're looking for. The question is, does he have the right person pushing those buttons for him? Well, we can't say with 100% certainty that he does.
Kind of cut our legs out from under us, too, because apparently if the Padres lose 15 of the next 17 games, the fans and everybody, we're going to be, hey, is AJ the right? Like, what are we doing here?
Right.
We can't have that conversation anymore. Like, Peter made it very clear in black and white. He's not going anywhere.
And Mr. Sunshine in the chat makes a good point. He says, I do believe there's nothing he can do right now to change his mind mid-season. He might change his mind at season's end. Yeah, agreed. I as he said, he started the interview essentially by saying, I'm not afraid to make changes. Thrown on top of that was when I see AJ, I see excellence. And there are parts of AJ Preller, absolutely, man, that you see excellence in. No one's perfect. No one's perfect. And he's not a perfect GM. He knows that. There are things he needs to do better. Right now, though, we'll see is the worst thing I can tell Pottery fans is we'll see how it all shapes up, man. Because like you made the point before we went to break, Ben, right now, the biggest question on this team is really depth and the bullpen.
I would love to hear what some tier ones have to think. We got one segment before Jordan Schusterman joins us, so hopefully we can get in a couple of phone calls if you want to join us. 833-288-0973. Your reaction to Peter Seidler's comments about the team and AJ Preller. And then Jordan Schusterman, who was with the team in Cincinnati over the weekend, our friend from Cespedes Family Barbecue, will join us at 8:35. So stay tuned for all of it coming up after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Before we do that, just a reminder, this hour on The Fan brought to you by Smart & Final. The fridge is packed thanks to Smart & Final's big game deal. Smart & Final, one trip, and that's it.
Believe it. Yeah, you beat me and Take on Woods. You could go see this. Now, a different singer. He passed away. Rest in peace, the great Janie Lane. But yeah, still go see Warrant and Skid Row. Man, I had no idea they were playing, Paulie. September. I'm already going to Vegas in October.
Just go a little early
to go see U2.
Extend that trip by a
and
week
they're
and
at
a
that
half.
Sphere thing, right?
U2's playing the Sphere.
I saw they have these new like deep LED lights on the outside of the Sphere. It looked so cool.
I can't decide if I want to be sober for it to remember it or just to get in there and have the time of my life. I can't. I'm really juggling this decision. It's going to be incredible. Incredible. They're doing a residency there. But it
looks awesome.
Had I known Warrant and Skid Row were playing, I would have gone to that as well. Wonder if the wife would let me go solo. I doubt it.
Just a quick round trip.
Weekends.
Yeah. It's all not quite back to back, couple staggered, but I'm going to go to Vegas, babe, and see Skid Row and Warrant.
Ben and Woods, me and you.
I would take you in a heartbeat. Paulie comes too, but you guys have to sit through the show.
I would go.
Would I like the show or
Skid Row and Warrant? Yeah,
I would.
It'd be awesome. They're all
sounds loud.
It's loud, but they're all about
loud.
having fun. They're having fun.
Because that's what I'm synonymous with.
Fun, and being skinny.
Speaking of
Skid Row will be here in December.
They will be here in December.
House of Blues.
Oh, all right. Maybe I'll do that.
Speaking of fun, the Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed on 97.3 The Fan. You know what?
When I think fun, I think of the Odyssey app.
Here's my recommendation. If you didn't hear Woods telling you about his brief Palm Springs vacation over the weekend, go back to about 6:05 a.m. this morning, jump back to our open, and sit back and enjoy as I did this morning. It's very easy. Download the free Odyssey app. Tap earlier today to get started with that feature.
Wyatt in the chat said, I missed the first 2 hours, but everything is still sounding negative. Go back and listen to the first 2 hours. And what do you want me to tell you, buddy? We got a system. We've got an order of we do things.
I think you'd be foolish to go 100% positive.
Right.
After 2 wins against the Angels. We've seen the track record of this team. Once they get to a 4th win in a row, I will entertain some positivity at that point. But until you can prove you can win more than 3 straight games, I think you are just setting yourself up for more disappointment. How are they going to win today's game? It's still Seth Lugo on the mound today, right?
Yeah, Seth Lugo's on the bump. Who is he facing?
Seth Lugo
today?
will be facing Patrick Sandoval.
Okay.
Of the Angels. So, I mean, you got to score another 9-10 runs, right? Your bullpen is still taxed. Josh Hader is probably not available after pitching the last couple of days. How do you piece together 9 innings? Now, you don't have to face Trout. Might not have to face Ohtani.
Won't have to face Rendon.
And Rendon. That should make things a little bit easier. But the Angels have some other guys who can do some damage. And if you walk everybody in the bullpen, doesn't matter who's coming up to the plate. So, yeah, I'm still a little nervous about it all.
Avila still up? Or did he get sent down?
Let's see. He was part of the moves that got sent down. Waldron came up, and Matt Batten came up to give some bench depth.
Yep.
And Castillo came up.
Yeah.
Who they used yesterday to great effect.
Yes.
In the 9th inning.
So Tim Hill is available tonight.
Yeah.
It has not gone well. Morejon hasn't pitched in a couple of days. They may want to save him.
Honeywell's
available.
Probably Martinez. He did pitch 3 in a row, but he had yesterday off.
Cosgrove had yesterday off as well. Nick Martinez and Brent Honeywell. Yeah,
and you have an off day tomorrow. So
off day tomorrow. So you got to let's sweep these guys, man. They are decimated. They're beaten up. They're kind of I was going to say they were falling on their faces, but no, I mean they're just bad luck right now for the Los Angeles Angels of California and Anaheim.
You mentioned as we went into the break, Peter Seidler possibly, when the season ended, if it didn't go well, reevaluating some of those comments we just talked about, the 100% faith, the excellence that he sees in his general manager. And I will once again reiterate a point I made last week. Firing the GM right now doesn't do anything to change this season.
No, it doesn't.
It really doesn't.
I mean, the only thing it does is if you fired him today. I'm not saying that they should, but if you did, he doesn't control that trade deadline.
No,
right?
but you have to keep. We pretty much agreed. You have to keep him through the draft. They've done all the legwork. His staff for this upcoming draft. You can't just install new people days before a draft. I mean, a GM in any sport has to kind of get through that before you'd even think about making changes. But you can't jumpstart this season by firing your GM.
No.
So
you're gonna have to ride. We're all in this right now. Like we're riding this thing out, and it's you can't come on our show every day and say, "Hey, we'll see how it shakes out." Right? That's bad radio. We have to prognosticate a little bit. We have to play the what if game, Ben. And I don't mind the what if game. You know what the game I don't like that you play is if I had assured you that you'd win 2 games out of 5.
If I had told you, actually going into the 9th inning yesterday, the Padres had the 3rd best run differential in the National League, it would have been true.
You got to get off this mirage. You have to.
It's not a mirage. It's
a mirage.
It's not a mirage. There's nothing more concrete outside of wins and losses than runs scored and runs allowed.
No, because
it's the one thing that actually does lead to wins and losses is scoring runs and giving up runs. And in the history of baseball, there's an extremely tight correlation to scoring runs and giving up runs and winning and losing baseball games.
Not in this case.
Even John Smoltz acknowledges that in order to win, you're probably going to have to outscore your opponents. And the Padres have indeed done a pretty decent job of outscoring their opponents this season.
What is their record?
On an overall basis.
What's their record?
It's the day-to-day.
What is their record?
Smaller sample size that is leaving them a little bit short.
What is their
6
record?
games under 500.
It's a mirage.
They have a better run differential than the Orioles, who are 15 games above 500.
I will trade records with any of those.
Better run differential than the Giants. They had a better run differential than the Diamondbacks until the 9th inning. Now they're one run behind the team that is in first place in their division. It tells you that they have the talent to put it together, that there's something that's going wrong in the execution. Obviously, the runners in scoring position, the bullpen, the close games, the 1-run record, which is the worst in baseball. That's what's going wrong for the Padres this season. All right, we have Jordan Schusterman from Cespedes Family Barbecue going to join us, a usual Monday guest, a special Wednesday treat on this short week. He will be with us when we come back on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. What was that Braves record over the last month? 24-3.
24-3.
My goodness
friends.
gracious!
That since June 3rd, the Hotlanta Braves, living up to their name right now, Benny. I mean, just white.
Goes to show you the Padres
hot.
could have been everything we thought they would be. They'd still completely have their hands full with an Atlanta Braves team that is playing as good a baseball as really any team. I think they set a record for home runs.
67 home runs
in the month of June.
The Angels, second with 51.
I mean, that's 16 more than the team that had Ohtani, who hit, 16 alone in the month of June himself.
84 run differential. Wow. Outscored opponents 35-7 in the first inning. So they're just getting the teams early, putting them away. Increased their lead in the NL East from 3.5 to 9 games. That, my friends, is a run.
Swept the Marlins over the weekend.
24-3 that'd be something else.
But the playoffs are the great equalizer because they can win 110 games. We've
111,
seen it.
yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily mean anything. All right, we got Jordan Schusterman from Cespedes Family Barbecue standing by. We will talk to him in a moment. First, this hour on Ben and Woods is brought to you by the SC Johnson Raid, and we'll be back after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Usually a Grand Ole Monday when Jordan or Jake joins us from Cespedes Family Barbecue. We'll call it a Grand Ole Wednesday, though, as we are joined by Jordan Schusterman from the baseball podcast, Cespedes Family Barbecue. Jordan, I hope you had a good 4th of July.
Oh, it's great to see you guys. It feels a little weird on Wednesday, but hey, got a little more time to get the vibes up. I'm feeling good about the Friars right now.
All right.
This is a good time to get me.
Boy, this is, we've won 2, we've won 3, we've not won 4 yet this season. We're not going to be able to get to 4 unless we win today, which would be 3. Jordan, I don't know. It just I want to. I'm continuing on my train of. I want to believe. Please make me believe. And when you go out yesterday and you get to Shohei Ohtani, you don't only get to him. I mean, he pulled himself out of the game essentially, but man, they hit him really, really hard, and that was a nice moment yesterday. But we need more of them.
Yeah, maybe I don't know why you would think I should be the lowest on the Padres right now because I was in attendance for Friday's game. I was there. I live in Indiana. I go to the Reds as my home ballpark to cover stuff for Fox Sports. And I was there. And I would say that was probably, which says a lot because of how many low points there have been. That felt like the bottom.
That
right?
hurt, man.
And it felt like after that game, after that walk-off, you say, it can't get any worse than this. They bounce back on Saturday, lose a close one Sunday. But I came away from kind of being around the team and talking to people around the team that this is the most disappointing team in baseball, even more than the Mets. I say that, but I have more hope for them than some of these other teams that are still trying to crawl their way out of terrible first halves. And I think we've started to see glimpses of that over the last couple of days.
That makes sense that you say that. It's weird, right? Though, I mean, I now the Mets are coming here, so I need to be careful about what I say. But I do. I agree with that assessment. I still believe that they can turn it around because we've seen so many flashes of what this lineup potentially can be, just like yesterday, against the best player in the world maybe that we've ever seen. So I do tend to agree with that assessment, Jordan, but we'll see how it plays out because there's still some depth, and you saw it, man. You were there Friday. You saw a severe lack of depth out of the bullpen. That game, especially. And I mean, we were one out away from winning that ball game. That one hurt the most of any of the brutal losses this year.
Yeah, no, and it was a tough one, and I'm sure this has been a talking point in terms of Hader. And first of all, I didn't realize that was maybe the most stunning thing when I arrived at the ballpark on Friday. Was talking to Jesse Agler, of course, one of longtime friend, awesome guy, one of my favorite people in Padres land. He's like, yeah, Hader hasn't pitched in 10 days. I was like, what?
10 days.
It's like, I know they've been losing, but like, what do you mean Hader hasn't pitched in 10 days? And, he comes in that game, but then to have him, only go one inning, it does certainly limits Melvin's options. And that's the thing. I think what you're now certainly seeing from frustrated fans is, like, how mad are we going to get at Bob Melvin when the options are as seemingly limited as they are, right? I think there's certainly been some cases where you could question some of the sequencing, but I also think that, he's working with kind of a tough batch right now. Now, I did see that it sounds like Robert Suarez is maybe on his way back, which could be a real game changer in the second half for them. I still worry about, again, like the depth of, like, still the bottom part of the lineup. That's why seeing Cronenworth finally put together some good swings, that's another thing that I'm encouraged about. But yeah, I think that they have the opportunity to kind of go in on a good note. Still a lot of work to do, a lot of teams to climb past. So nothing is certain, but I think they got a shot here.
The use of Josh Hader has been an issue with me going back to last season. And the fact that he didn't appear in any of the last 3 games of the National League Championship Series as they lost to the Phillies still sticks in my craw a little bit. But, I want to talk, because since you go to those Reds games and you were there that weekend, teams that just have like that magic in baseball. Padres and Phillies both kind of had it in October last year.
Yeah.
Big wins, dramatic moments. The Reds seem to be that team, at least over the last month and a half. They win and they do it spectacularly and come from behind and dramatically. And Padres were twice victimized by it over the weekend.
Yeah, and I mean, having been there all season, that's kind of been the theme of the Reds. I think what's so amazing about them, and when you talk about projecting teams, and coming into the season, you could have said, all right, well, this is a pretty strong farm system. They've built up some exciting players that are probably going to arrive at the major league level this year. But what you don't expect is to have 4 rookies who are all impacting the game significantly almost every game that they're out there, right? So those 3 hitters, Ellie De La Cruz has certainly got the bulk of the attention because of his kind of freak show factor, deserved. I mean, he's unbelievable to watch, and the kind of, plays that he can make on both sides of the ball is amazing. But Matt McClain and Spencer Steer have been so productive since they showed up at the beginning of May. And when you have, you just can't factor in rookies as being that big of a part of your success. Any team, no matter how high they are on prospect lists, you don't expect them to be that good. And then we saw Andrew Abbott on Sunday, who's just another level as well, who's just a sensational. And that, if there is one thing that is going to sink the Reds, it is the starting pitching depth, which is very injured right now with Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo. But what Abbott has done for them has just been so big. And I mean, he can only go over 5 days, but that's just the amount of rookie contributions that they've had is unlike any other team in the league. And in a weak division, it's been enough to keep him in first place.
Abbott is a stud. And that, I know he dominated the Padres.
I don't get it, because he throws the ball down the middle. They were even talking about it.
Well, they were talking about it. I was listening as I was driving back from the Palm Springs vacation. And they were talking about, hey, man, this is a kid that knows how to pitch. He showed it in his first start, and he obviously showed it against the Padres. But he knows how to pitch, and he is mixing it up. He's got 4 pretty, low 90s fastball, but the other stuff is really, really, that's like Blake Snell. I mean, Blake Snell throws hard, but my God, when he's bouncing that breaking ball, you're like, why are you swinging at this? You can subtract breaking ball. He never throws one for a strike. Guys just offer it. It must be the way it comes out of the hand or something. But that Abbott kid, he's got a hugely bright future.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting comparison, right? Because I think with Abbott, it all happened a lot quicker, whereas Snell, I think, his stuff has always been renowned since he kind of got into pro ball. But it is an interesting comparison. I mean, go look at what Abbott was doing before he got called up. I mean, you think the numbers are good now. Go look at what he was doing in Double-A to start the year. It's like a 60% strikeout rate or something ridiculous. So while it isn't, I still would say it's not as visually kind of impactful as Snell's stuff, but people just can't see it. And that fastball has some kind of special movement, or the way that it comes out, that it's really something. And yeah, he's been just massive for them.
Talking to our pal Jordan Schusterman from Cespedes Family Barbecue on a grand old Monday here on Ben and Woods. It's a mouthful. when it comes to the Reds, we saw this a few years ago with them, and they had a pretty good core, and they made a pretty good run, and then they blew it up. This is going to be a different scene. They just had their GM on MLB Network this morning. I didn't get a chance to hear what he had to say, but man, if you're that guy, you have to look at what you have and say, yeah, we in this division, and what you have to play for the year that you're playing in, you have every chance to win this division. You do, as long as they stay healthy. And if they could add a couple of pieces, I know it's going to be a slow deadline, but they absolutely have to be buyers, right?
Yeah, 100%. They have to get healthy, not just stay healthy. I mean, I guess they have to stay healthy on the offensive side, but I mean, with Hunter Green and Lodolo out until August, that's what's going to be tough, and they could probably use this break here. But I agree. I think, especially when you look at maybe you're not going to point them as someone that's going to go out and spend a lot of money in free agency, but there's no reason why they shouldn't be having no trouble to take on whatever contract it is. And I'm not just saying bad contracts, but just taking on big salaries, big arbitration numbers. That should be no trouble with where their payroll is at. And I agree. And I think it'll be interesting to see which prospects they identify. I mean, you see all this wave of rookies that they've graduated. You can kind of see the core, just a really impressive depth of position players, young position players at the top already there, that you would think that they do have some room to maybe move some of those other hitting prospects, even maybe ones that they just traded for, like a Noel Marte, like an Edwin Arroyo. And we'll see how much appetite they have for that. But I totally agree. I think it's a huge opportunity for them here. And when you have that young core that's already in place, you can't afford to subtract from what is also still a strong farm system.
Jordan, we just mentioned the incredible tear that the Atlanta Braves are on, and they were a good team before the tear even started. And when you look at the National League now, who's going to challenge the Braves? I mean, the Central, we just talked about mediocrity. They just showed that they were heads and tails above the Miami Marlins over the weekend. And then in the West, the Diamondbacks have cooled off. The Dodgers continue to get hit by injuries. Dustin May is now out for the season with flexor tendon surgery. Giants and Padres don't look like that much of a threat. I mean, is there anyone to challenge the Braves left in the National League?
At this stage, no. I don't know if you watched last night's game, but that Ozzie Albies homer off of Clase, I know they ended up losing, but when Albies homers off Clase, you're just like, oh, they'll never lose. They're going to win 15 in a row or something. But again, like watching them in person, and they were in Cincinnati the weekend before, and they also lost the really close one on Friday. But man, like that lineup is just so ridiculous. They have Michael Harris batting ninth now. I know he stunk for the first month. He's been one of the best hitters in baseball for the last month and a half. The offense is so ridiculous. I still look at the pitching staff and say, like, is this pitching staff that special? I know they've had injuries, but then you say, oh, that's the thing. They haven't even had Max Fried yet, right? And you can factor in some of stuff like that. And when you have performances from dudes who were supposed to be their 10 starter, like Bryce Elder, who becomes an all-star, I don't think anyone's, I mean, it's a boring answer, but no, I think that they are comfortably ahead of not just the NL. Like, I think they're kind of in their own tier ahead of even Tampa Bay and Texas in the AL. So yeah, they're in their own group, and they've earned that. And I think that we are going to, that next group, though, is still vulnerable. As you mentioned, I'm much more interested in the argument for who is the second best team, because I think that is something that I am really not sure of at this stage, because of kind of how some of those teams in the West and even the Marlins, looked over the last week or so.
You're not in the Hamptons right now, are you, Jordan? You go to the white party?
Oh, no. I'm wearing the wrong color to be at the Michael Rubin party, but if you want to talk about that, I can.
We had Adam Jones on last hour. He is in the Hamptons, but did not get an invite to the white party.
And he sounded like three houses down. He goes, "Yeah, I see it all, but I didn't get invited."
It sounded like he was at the bottom of a well. He said the connections aren't that good, and yours kind of broke up a little bit. Yeah,
go ahead. I just want to. If you're going to give me the opportunity, I'm going to do this. Now listen, this is a huge flaw, right? How do we get baseball if they're going to do it in the middle of the season? Like, maybe if they could do this, during the All-Star break, maybe we can get a little bit more baseball representation. But it's just a huge missed opportunity. There's no baseball representation there. It's
all basketball, football players, and Hollywood stars.
Kardashians. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Well, you'll see some of that at the All-Star game. When you guys are there next week. That's why we'll be missing you next week. You'll be at the All-Star game in Seattle. Not the same. All you need to know about the All-Star game is look who they put out there for the celebrity softball game. And I can name, usually, we can do real or fake celebrities at the softball. I've never heard of 90% of them, but it's no white party, but it's still pretty awesome. And you guys have a blast up there. We will get your report when you get back.
Oh, yes. Looking forward to it. Yes. Flying to Seattle tomorrow night. Very excited. We will be doing some celebrities softball coverage. So you can check that out. Baseball Barbacast as always. But very good to catch up with you guys. I hope Padres can keep it going into the break.
Us too, buddy.
I think
you.
they can get the least famous of the Jonas Brothers to show up for that or something like that.
That's too high end, man. I'm telling. Pull up some past rosters. It's like it's embarrassing what they're running out there, man.
Jordan Schusterman on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. So he says the Braves are now in a class amongst themselves in Major League Baseball. And the race right now is who's the second best team in Major League Baseball.
That's pretty obvious. Pretty obvious, man, watching them roll through it. But listen, anything can happen, man. Anything can happen. We've seen it. You know, you just never know.
That Friday game that he was at. I was kind of glad that we were going to get the next 5 days before we had to talk, because
I felt so bad for Ray Kerr, man. 1 out away, first big league save, and was looking okay. And man, it just, holy cow, dude. Holy cow.
Then they gunned down Ellie De La Cruz at the plate in the 11th inning on the replay, stands up and goes. They finally survived a replay challenge. Like for the first time, it felt like all season, a replay went the Padres' way. And 2 pitches later, Spencer Steer walks it off with the home run off Drew Carlton. I mean, what a gut punch of a game and a gut punch of a season for the Padres that was.
I damn near wanted to cry. I couldn't believe it.
They finally score in extra innings.
And I know a lot of people were saying like there's no moral victories. I think you were a big moral victory guy that night, but it's not. It doesn't.
0-7 in extra innings doesn't feel that moral.
It doesn't. Well, at least we battled.
All right, Paulie's got your hot dog eating update and a gnarly story about a roller coaster next in the Roundel Report.
Dude, Paulie has a story in the Roundel report that it's given me anxiety since Adam sent it to us yesterday. I honestly thought about it most of the day. Most of the day after I saw, I didn't. All I saw was the headline. I go, I don't want to read this. It's all I saw was the headline.
Will you be also going through all 800 NBA free agency transactions?
I will say this: my phone has the dumb big important
push notifications.
Oh my god!
I saw.
Who are these people?
I saw at least 5 names.
Who are these people?
So and so signs, $180 million 4-year extension with the Hornets, and I'm like, I guarantee you. I don't know if you got those notifications.
Oh,
you
yeah.
said you did. I'm like, Woods has no idea who that person.
Play. Let's play.
That's
no
a real
tomorrow.
fake.
Tomorrow? Oh, we are. Okay,
yes,
good.
So we're playing tomorrow. There was one. To me, there's one NBA story that cut through the noise. Damian Lillard wants to be traded.
That was okay.
That's the only one that I really care about.
We've got our my friend from social media, Z, who's one of the funniest cats you will ever meet. He's a huge Portland Trailblazers fan, and I saw it, and I immediately we all texted him and said, "Dude, I'm so sorry." Now he said the interesting thing about his deal is they could send him to Charlotte if they want. He has no say.
He wants to go to Miami.
Yeah, right.
But it's not a great match. They're going to have to do a 3-way somehow. If that really is where Damian Lillard's going to end up.
Don't you need to do what's in the best interest of the organization?
Yes, you do.
Right. And
they're doing him a solid just by immediately
and
honoring and saying, okay, we'll now try to trade you, but we can't promise
what happened, though? Like
going to the one team.
Didn't I see a headline maybe a week ago that said he doesn't want to be part of a super team? Also, he never wanted the LeBron type scene, and he just kind of wanted to do his thing.
Miami's not a super team. They're a very balanced team. It
Yeah,
probably gets better with him. And
that's
he wants to play for a team that has a chance to win a title. Honestly, I'm surprised it didn't happen 2 or 3 years ago. That was the kind of loyalty. Anyone who's saying, "Oh no, not loyal to Portland," he gave you more than he probably should have. Just like Tony Gwynn did for San Diego. He gave up money. He gave up chances at winning for his loyalty to San Diego. Damian Lillard's done the same thing in Portland, but at some point, if you think you want to win a title and you see it's not going to happen in Portland and there's only so many years you've got left in your career, I don't blame him one bit for finally asking out. It was up to the Blazers to put the pieces around him to succeed, and they never
failed
did.
him. He didn't fail them.
Yes, I agree with that statement as well. The Blazers failed Damian Lillard. All NBA 7 times in his time in Portland, ready for him to get an opportunity somewhere else. But we've got other things to discuss today on the Reindl Report.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
I'm like dreading this. I'm dreading it already.
We will get there, my man. First, I just need to start with the shout-outs.
Shout-outs.
I haven't seen him
Someone
in the
died?
chat this
Or
morning.
not
No,
just
it's not a
his
shout-out to his
family?
family. This
Okay.
is an OG shout-out.
Okay.
I haven't seen him in the chat today, but Anthony the Butcher, my God, thank you for the steaks, my friend.
Massive plugola.
No, I paid for him.
Massive plugola.
I paid for him. He may have showed me a digital coupon for $7.99 a pound.
He controls the plugola siren, though. That's where we're always up against it, Ben.
So,
there we go.
so Swag You,
Yes.
Granol,
Yes.
Anthony the Butcher.
We
are just a very
meaty,
meat-centric show
We're
here.
meaty.
He works in San Marcos.
He's the goat,
kind of
by
in
the way.
between where you guys live, where I live.
Yeah. San Marcos.
He's our guy,
God bless
though.
you.
Holy crap. Thank you.
I love it. I go see Anthony all the time.
Thank you. All right.
That boy knows how to cut meat, man. I love him.
Ben, I'm going to just lean on you for this first story because I saw the headline and didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me as to what the hell happened with San Diego State in the Mountain West.
Saw the best.
Let's see. Where did we leave you last week?
Well, I saw the best visual interpretation of it, and I'll explain after. After Ben.
The last we talked about it, San Diego State was leaving the Mountain West and then pulled the old "just kidding."
Our letter wasn't really. It was
right, but they still wanted to try to open negotiations with the Mountain West on, kind of some wiggle room, and the Mountain West was going to go hard line,
which was money. It's money involved.
So San Diego State, they came to the actual deadline on June 30th, and they said, all right, let's not mess around. Let's actually specifically say we are not leaving the Mountain West. You may have misinterpreted us, but we are definitely not leaving the Mountain West. Assuming now if we leave, we're going to owe more, the $34 million if we want to go next year. So you got us. We're staying. But then the Mountain West goes, no, we already accepted your resignation. You can't, no take backs, essentially, is what the Mountain West position with San Diego State was. It was like San Diego State's going, no, we haven't left. It's in writing. We have not left. And the Mountain West says, nope, we already kicked you out. We are withholding all of your money. We've kicked the president off our board of directors. You're gone. And no, we're not hearing anything else you're saying. That's essentially where we're at with the Mountain West and San Diego State. Now, if you want me to tell you why that's happening? I don't really know. I mean, if I'm the Mountain West, I'd like San Diego State to stay as long as possible. They are clearly the premier team of your school conference by leaps and bounds. And you should be holding an ice cream cake party at your headquarters in Denver because, hey, it looks like we're going to get at least 2 more years of the Aztecs instead of just 1. Hip, hip, hooray. But instead, they're making life as difficult on the Aztecs as possible.
Who screwed up here?
I mean,
sending the letter.
San Diego State screwed up sending the original letter.
Right.
They should have had some, untraceable phone calls and just kind of tried to knock on some doors and then waited until the last minute to
kick some tires.
Yeah.
Remember
nothing in writing.
Right. Yeah. The old adage
as Nixon would tell you, don't leave any written evidence of what you're trying to do.
The visual representation was from Seinfeld, and it's Kramer, and he's saying, how could I be with you? I would never be with you. And then the very next second, he's like, come back. I love you. I love you. It was it's exactly what happened in the span of about, 2 weeks, essentially. So, brass tacks, though, they're just going to be in the Mountain West.
Yeah, I'm reading through the UT.
For the next couple of years.
They have a meeting in a couple of weeks that will not include President De La Torre because, like Ben said, she was kicked off the board. But and there's $6.5 million at stake right now.
Yeah, they're due about a $6.5 million payout from the Mountain West like this week. The Mountain West says, no, we're going to take that and put it toward your $17 million exit fee because you already said you're leaving. But then they said, well, we're not leaving. Ultimately, it probably means San Diego State will be in the Mountain West for 2 more years. If an invitation came in the next couple of weeks,
they'll just pay it.
I don't know. I mean, J.D. Wicker has said we can't afford $34 million. I mean, $17 million is going to be a stretch to leave as it is. We can't afford $34 million. You'll probably have to wait. Maybe they'll eventually figure out the wiggle room somewhere in between and get to leave a year earlier. I don't know, but that invitation hasn't come yet. So San Diego State has no choice but to stay in the Mountain West.
All right, well, keep you updated on that. Next up, the infamous Nathan's famous hot dog eating competition.
We're in, we're out, we're back, we're canceled.
2-hour weather delay
for hot dogs.
I think the first notification I saw was that it was canceled.
I saw that as well. And I'm like, oh, that's a bummer.
Now, I think there was lightning, and so they didn't want people outdoors and potentially, getting struck by lightning. I get that.
Hot dogs, notorious conduit for lightning.
Yeah. Hear me out. Do they not have a building that they could have gone in?
Any
and sat
sort of building.
8 guys down.
What are we talking here, crowd wise?
I think it's like it looks
Probably
like Gallagher Square
crowd.
or something. Like you get 4,000 or 5,000 people congregated in an area.
I'm not seeing a crowd number.
No backup plan. No plan B.
It's Coney Island. I've never been there. I don't really know what it looks like out there. Amusement park rides and such.
Yeah.
Well, Joey
not necessarily
Chestnut.
Big event venues, but.
Joey Chestnut, friend of the show, did it again. Won his 16th hot dog eating contest following the weather delay. We're 63 hot dogs, I think it was, in less than 10 minutes. Just He didn't set his record. His own record was set in 2021. I think it was 71 hot dogs. So he's a little off that pace, but he got the job done. And Joey Chestnut remains the GOAT.
Starting to show his age a little bit, but he's so far ahead still of everybody else that even a 12 hot dog drop-off or 8 hot dog drop-off is not enough to threaten his overall title.
Did you see the picture of him storming towards the
yes, like he was
table?
walking in to fight Tyson. Like, it is just incredible.
Oh man, yeah,
it's so gross. I can't watch it, man.
It's tough to watch.
It is
when they dump it in the water and just gets all soggy.
I don't know who was filling in for DA before us, but he was going in on all conspiracy theories with Joey and the cancellation and what they're trying to do, and like whatever happened to Kobayashi. Remember, he had the feud with Major League Eating and wouldn't do it anymore. He was Joey Chestnut before Joey Chestnut.
Yeah,
the Japanese Joey Chestnut,
Japanese Joey Chestnut,
Kobayashi, but they never go head to head in anything. So, he's got to get some competition here at some point.
I mean, he's just rolls.
There's no drama in any of them.
He's like the Patriots. It's just like, all right. I mean, it's Joey Chestnut again. Holy cow, man.
All right. And then finally, just an absolute horror story in Wisconsin at a state fair. If you've ever been on a roller coaster, this is your worst nightmare, and it happened. 8 people were stuck upside down on a roller coaster for over 3 hours over the weekend.
How does that happen?
You've been on a ride, they break down.
I know they break down, but doesn't gravity at least bring you back to the lowest point on the coaster? Like it's a roller coaster.
No, but this one's the upside down.
So this was a weird one. It's
right.
It's not your traditional roller coaster.
Wouldn't it roll back one way or the other back to the bottom
One
at
would
least?
think it's a good idea. Like I hit the release.
Yeah, and is the parking brake stuck on or something? This thing.
I don't know. So this was a state fair or county fair somewhere north of Green Bay.
Notorious for their high standards on their amusement park
terrifying.
rides.
Nobody in the chat says they have auto lock brakes. So, but you can't release that and then let it fall because it's a loop.
Back
yeah,
and forth.
it's a loop to loop.
Yeah, this was not like the typical roller coaster that might have a loop. The whole thing is just one loop. And you just go in a circle
it's a mechanical
over and over. And it just happened to break down right as they were right at the very top, hanging upside down.
Oh my God.
Fortunately, nobody was
strapped
hurt.
in, so you're not going anywhere.
But you are up.
But you're hanging upside down for how long?
Over 3 hours.
Oh my. Like more than an NFL football game?
Stand on your head for 5 seconds and let me know how you feel. It's not great.
There were 8 people on board the roller coaster, and 7 of the 8 were children.
The Ring of Fire, it's called. Oh my
God. Fireball.
That's
what I got here. But my God. And they had to get firefighters there to help every one of them down one by one. They say that the ride recently passed an inspection, but clearly some sort of mechanical failure. And I think about that every time I drive by the fair on the 5. You look over and you're like, there's all these trucks, these fairs. They just go from like city to city and just set up over this course of a couple of weeks. You're like, how structurally sound is that? I don't know, but absolutely terrifying.
I've gotten stuck one time.
I don't get on them, so not going to happen to me.
I got stuck one time going up, and it stopped, and we're talking 5 minutes tops. Yeah. Now it is a little dicey when it sticks on your way up, and they're like, everything's cool now. We're gonna keep the ride going. But going up the big hill I think it was at Six Flags in Arlington, Texas, and Judge Roy Bean was the name of the roller coaster. And we got up before we did the big, and it just stopped, and we were kind of tilted, and we waited, and it's hot. It's 105 degrees in the summer, and you just wait. And the guy's walking up, you guys good? There's water, whatever. Hey, just real quick, we'll be back and get it done. And then like, all right, we're good. And then it kind of jolts you, and you finish the ride, and you're like, all right, that was dicey. Getting stuck upside down is a whole different ballgame.
It wasn't a amusement park ride. I used to snowboard a lot, and occasionally the chairlifts would stop for a couple of minutes, helping somebody that fell off or something at the, as they're getting off the chairlift. It's not easy if you haven't done it before.
Oh, it's really hard. With a snowboard, you're like, oh God.
They're just hobbling down. Yeah. One time we got stuck for about 20 to 30 minutes, and you have no idea what's going on. You're halfway up a mountain. You're like, you assume, it should only be a minute or two while they help whoever fell trying to get off the chairlift. No, it was about 20 or 30 minutes, and your board is just dangling there. Your feet are just it's terrifying.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Ugh. But roller coaster upside down for 3 hours.
Upside
I'm
down.
I got stuck on Pirates of the Caribbean for like 15 minutes, but it was hot and it was cool down there. I was like, I'm okay, just sitting there in the boat, and I'm good.
Just in the boat in the dark.
In the
There's
dark.
nothing's gonna happen to you.
No.
Worse than
And
to get
again,
your pants wet.
Yeah,
This was 7 of the 8 passengers were children. What are they like? They don't know what the hell is going on.
What
Like,
can you do, man?
they're just freaking out.
It's fun for like 1 minute, and you're like, "Oh my god, we're stuck. This is crazy." And then 3 more hours goes by.
Well, not a great advertisement for the San Diego County Fair, but it's done. People will have forgotten about it by next year.
Yeah,
so
it's true.
Get back on those upside down rides.
Holy
Thank you,
cow.
Paulie.
You're
Rundle
very
report.
welcome.
I got a new bet set up, a $10 Padres bet between me and Woods. We'll see what he picks as the Padres go for a 3-game sweep of the Los Angeles Angels later today. Look ahead to the matchup as well. All coming up with Ben and Woods after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Already seeing the "Will Shohei Ohtani now be traded" columns popping up again after Angels seem to put all end to that discussion by both playing well and saying that they weren't going to trade Ohtani. They have lost, I believe, 4 straight series now.
Yeah.
And with Mike Trout going on the injured list and Ohtani and Rendon getting nicked up yesterday and possibility of getting swept by the Padres today. Free fall, a lot of those same terms that we heard with the Padres recently, now being associated with the Los Angeles Angels and bringing up the possibility that they may be wise to start entertaining trade offers.
They're not bringing it up.
No, not the Angels.
People.
Media members, speculatory columnists of the sort.
So he's a rental. You're trading for an injured rental right now.
A blistered rental.
Well, I thought it was the fingernail again.
They said blister on the middle finger yesterday.
How convenient.
There was some speculation that perhaps his pride was blistered a little bit by getting knocked around by the San Diego Padres, just as Juan Soto said he would.
And Juan Soto didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything, but he didn't say I
He didn't say I will.
He
said our lineup.
Our lineup is going to give him problems, and I had the biggest eye roll on that one.
I
and
did
then,
too. I'm like,
guess what?
dude.
The lineup gave Shohei Ohtani, after a couple innings, they gave him some problems.
Juan just goes down to the San Diego Zoo and then gets a big stick and he just reaches it in the tiger's cage and he's always poking. He's like, "Hey, come here!" But I mean, it worked. It worked yesterday.
I mean, Xander did it a couple weeks ago. Hey, we got to sweep the Pirates. We can't
shut up.
You can't just win 2 out of 3.
I'm the only media member in town that's telling them to talk less. Say less.
You gotta sweep this team.
Don't say anything.
You gotta sweep this entire road trip. 6 in a row. You win 1 in 5.
He was talking about the Nationals. He's like, "Come on, they're not even trying this year. How do we lose these games?" I'm like, "Please shut up. Please shut up. Please shut up." The baseball gods are real. I guess I now believe in curses. But the baseball gods are very real, and you never want to anger them. And it's the golf gods too. They exist. You just, man, my game is, I am so locked in right now. They're like, "Sorry, chump."
No, you're not.
No, you're not. Guess who can't hit a 9-iron anymore? Like, it is just the dumbest thing. So, big fan of just, I don't know, just give me all the cliches. Remember I told you last week I wanted eyewash. We've seen some of that. It's great. Now I want to see.
They're trying. Now, Bob Melvin, they are all about one day at a time now.
100%.
The biggest cliche in all of sports history is the Padres mantra at the moment.
It
And
works.
that is, we are not looking past today's game.
It works.
One win at a time, one day at a time.
And that is all you can do, man.
Even AJ Preller on Friday. So, I mean, are you
fighting for your
playing
job
for your
here?
job here? Yeah, we got a big game in Cincinnati tonight.
Yeah, we're going to focus on
At
that.
the risk of a subject that really ticks Woods off, but I saw recently the 2019 Nationals, who were 12 games under 500.
Are you doing this again?
On their
How many
champion,
times do we have
you
to
know what they
threaten
wrote
you?
on their championship rings on the inside? Go 1-0 today was their motto after they fell so far in the hole that season. Go 1-0
Keep the praise
today.
on me. Praise me.
So there it is.
Praise me. Only been saying it for
I
2
know.
years.
That was
Every
the
day.
motto, and that right now is at least what the Padres, I think, are focusing on.
Did we talk about Yonder Alonso roasting us after Friday?
He roasted us? Oh, you said he commented. I didn't know it was a roast. I thought he was going to praise us for our tough questions for AJ Preller. Most people actually told us that they thought they'd get a softball interview with AJ Preller.
Yeah.
But they said this guy actually asked him the tough questions. Now,
You
he
guys
didn't
forgot to submit
necessarily
your questions to the Padres.
he didn't necessarily give the answers everybody wanted to hear, but for the most part, everyone seemed okay with our line of questioning
Yonder.
of the GM.
Here's Yonder's. Ready?
You got it?
Yeah, June 30th. There's a reason why windshields are 59 inches wide and rear view mirrors are 9 inches wide. Much bigger picture in front of you than behind you. At Padres Ben and Woods, bigger pictures in front of us than behind us. Don't look back. Got to look forward. Okay, I get it. But to, extrapolate or explain the future, you need to look at the past a little bit. It doesn't matter what you did last year. That's one of the biggest things I've been saying all season is, hey, man, it does not matter. It doesn't matter. It is, what have you done for me lately? And as great as the last 2 games have been, what do we need to see from the Padres today? More. It's a very tough position that these guys are in every day. That's why they get paid buttloads of money. It's very, very difficult. It's very difficult. Cronenworth, if he takes an 0 for 5 tonight, You idiot. He's had a monster series. It's just the way baseball.
Well, Yonder's thinking like a ball player, which is very true.
It's very true.
There's no reason to dwell on the 0 for 4 or the 4 for 4 you had
none
yesterday.
whatsoever.
But as a radio host, as a member of a media,
you can't just come in here and say,
"No, hey, everything is erased. We're just looking at what's going on." No, that would be dumb.
It's true.
We put things in perspective. We discuss the bigger picture. We can talk about winning 9 out of 10 when the players and the team cannot. That is our job. It's completely different than what the job of the players and the manager, of going out and winning ball games is. So, yeah, I don't know that that's relevant to necessarily us right there, but it's true, that for the players, the front windshield is the important thing.
He is one of he's so good on TV. I love him. He's great. But when I saw that, I went, oh, all right. I mean, you can't look behind you. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. You can't, there's nothing you can do to erase those losses.
Ben and Woods, the first ever morning sports show that only discusses things ahead of them and not behind.
Correct.
No more Padres wrap up. No more discussing last night's game or what went wrong or what went right. We will only discuss the future going forward.
Good morning, everybody. It's Ben and Woods. Padres take on the Angels today, and we'll see. All right, that's it for us. See you later.
We don't want to speculate too much. We want to see how it plays out. We won't discuss it, but we do want to see how it plays out.
And remember, we will not be talking about it tomorrow. So go with it tonight, guys.
All right, speaking of going 1-0 today, here's your chance. I've set today's Ben and Woods $10 Padres bet. Angels at Padres, Wednesday series finale. Padres have scored some runs lately. They've been putting up some offense.
Helping that run differential.
I decided to move up the runs scored a little bit. 5.5 over under for runs for the Padres today in the series finale. Now, it's more than their average per game this season, which is hovering a little below 5, I believe. But trending, feel like most games they're now scoring more than that. I don't know. I thought you'd jump on the over, but you're thinking it. You're thinking it over hard.
Who they playing?
Sandoval.
Sandoval. How's he doing?
Let's see. Patrick Sandoval.
I'll take the over.
Current ERA is 4-7 with a 4.57 ERA.
Doesn't really matter. Guy could have a
lefty.
Guy could have a 12 ERA. It doesn't.
Padres do better against lefties.
Baseball. Yeah, I'll take the over.
Taking the over. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I think it's probably the good choice.
Yeah, I think so.
And I'll be happy to lose that one again if Padres can put some runs on the board today. All right, we got one segment left. Let's open the phone lines, 833-288-0973. If you want to join us, you can call now, 833-288-0973. We've discussed a lot today. 5 games that we missed over the weekend, Peter Seidler's comments, all-star snubs, disagreements, whatever. Had some great guests as well. This is your chance, Tier 1s. Give us a call. Up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Oh, there's nothing I like better than when one job overlaps with another job. It's like getting paid twice for doing one thing. And when the Padres and ABC connect, you don't see that very often. But I just got an email. I don't know if you guys saw this.
I just saw that.
Coming up on Monday, July 10th, 8 Central on ABC, special episode of ABC's The Bachelorette will be focused at Petco Park. Got a special one-on-one date between the newest Bachelorette, Charity Lawson, taking one of her guys to Petco Park for a Padres game. And if you are interested in seeing it, that will air Monday night, 9 o'clock on ABC 10 here in San Diego.
You also work for ABC 10.
I do.
What do you think of The Bachelorette?
I watched a couple of the seasons with Shelley when it was early. I've not seen, probably after Ben Higgins was The Bachelor, same franchise. They just call it you call it Bachelor
Right.
when a woman
you don't need to Ben
in charge, and then it's The Bachelor.
Everyone knows. We got it.
I think I've watched one season of The Bachelor and maybe 2 or 3 seasons of The Bachelorette. I do like The Bachelorette better than The Bachelor.
It's the same show.
Yeah, it's flipped.
You like the girls choosing
I like,
amongst the guys.
I like
It's
30 psychopath men
Yes.
fighting over one woman.
I love her, man. You just met her. But I'll tell you I love her. Oh, all right. I'm just not gonna comment. It's fine. I'm just gonna
Do you feel like the casting of that show? There are only like 2 or 3 reasonable people at all that are in there, but they have to have 1 or 2 to make it to the end that don't seem completely insane.
They
and
keep
then
the lunatics until like there's like 5 guys
They have to
left.
keep 'em around
One
for
of
a
them will
while.
still be the psychopath because he's edgy and he's a bad boy, and the girl's kind of into it, but not totally sure if she could marry him.
I don't know like how much influence the producer. It's a television show.
a lot.
Over
I
who
know
gets
somebody
to
that was
stay and
on-
who gets to go.
A lot.
I know somebody was on one of those shows until the end, and he told me straight up, like the production that goes into it. He goes, "Oh yeah, that big jaw-dropping moment that you saw in the 8th episode never happened. Never happened.
Never even happened.
Oh my God.
I mean, but do they actually get to pick when they're handing out their roses?
Yeah, what if you really look like
loathe someone? The producers, you got to keep him. He's good for ratings.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, fine, but I'm not going to pick him at the end. Whatever. I can see that happen.
I told my wife because she watches hours and hours and specials, and then there's specials about the specials and podcasts and everything. And I said, you know what would be interesting to me? Just like a regular schlub, like me or Ben or Paul. It's like a regular guy.
Nothing regular about me.
You're very regular.
What?
You're like the definition of regular.
I am.
But yeah, I mean, you're not like buff, and you don't have like tribal tattoos, and you don't, I don't know, like you're not.
Everyone isn't buff with tribal tattoos now. I thought I was being unique by not being
but like
buff with no tribal tattoos.
You know what I'm saying? Like just a regular guy. Just throw a regular old dude in there. Just a regular guy. Not some like super face man, super handsome, buff guy.
We can do our own on this show.
I don't want
a
to.
regular guy,
Very happily,
bachelor.
Very happily.
No. We'll have a regular tier 1 looking for love. Meet other tier 1s.
We get in trouble when we veer off of sports for like a minute. Like right now, probably somebody's freaking out. We're not talking about the Padres.
We are talking
Adam's
about the Padres.
phone, his
The
email is
Bachelorette is coming
flooding right
to
I'll be blamed.
It's coming to a Padres game at Petco Park. This is a sports story.
That's true.
Ben brought it up, but Woods will get blamed.
I'll get blamed 100%. You know how much criticism he skirts? It's not even funny. Probably because he's thin now, if I had to guess.
Now that makes you more of a target.
That's true. That's true. I wouldn't know.
All right. We
Nobody
got,
calling to talk Padres. Fantastic.
you want to join us? 833-288-0973. Definitely
5
feels,
days. You think we'd have this segment dialed
feels
in.
like a holiday week for sure.
Yeah, it's quiet. It's quiet. It's
Well,
quiet on the road.
Just got back from a holiday break. Ben's already on vacation mode.
I know we had
Third
one.
vacation.
We had one major traffic issue already this morning. Let's see how it's doing and check traffic with Kelly Danik.
From the premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the premier auto family, here's Kelly Danik.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your 15-minute instant drive-through oil change. Well, guys, we were wrapping up our morning drive with a traffic alert in Mission Valley. Northbound side of 805 to west and eastbound 8 is blocked. This all started with an accident involving a dump truck, which hit the guardrail and then started leaking fuel all over the place. So not only have they got the North 805 to both directions of the 8 closed, but Adams Avenue on-ramp to northbound 805 is closed at this time. Only other problem is in the North County. We're getting reports of some defective traffic signals on the Melrose Drive off-ramp of eastbound 78. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru oil change centers. You don't have to get out of your car, and it usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for discounts and locations nearest you. Valvoline Oil Change Centers are open 7 days a week. And Kelly Danica with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's one way to go.
This executive decision.
One way to go.
By our own Paul Reindl. I like that very much.
Topic wheel on a Wednesday.
Absolutely. He's back into it.
Weird one. Have you ever had a crush on a cartoon character?
That is. Yes. Yeah. What's the.
I have.
The
Little Mermaid.
No. Jessica
Ariel?
Rabbit.
Jessica Rabbit.
Really?
Yeah. And then the one from Cool World. Is that one? Is it the same person? No.
Lori Petty. What was her name?
I don't remember.
No.
No, not the actress.
Not the actress.
cartoon.
Cartoon.
Yeah. But I've never.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Daphne. Yeah, a little
Stroganoff.
bit. Daphne from Scooby-Doo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not was the other one?
Velma.
You're more of a Velma. Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Yes.
I totally be friends with Velma.
But he also thinks he's Fred.
I was a kid, you know.
He thinks he's Fred now.
I was shallow at that time.
He does.
I'm very much Fred. Kind of a dark-haired
Is he the
Fred.
one that wears the ascot? Yeah.
Drives the mystery machine.
Better question is, have you ever worn an ascot? And
Laugh it up, Shaggy.
Velma makes sense to me. Sure, but I've never.
Yeah.
I have friends that have used.
That's interesting.
I know it's different. I'm talking like.
No,
like,
I know. I'm just saying.
Like if their personality was in a real person, you'd like, oh, that'd be someone that I think I could.
Or like their looks. Jessica Rabbit was very attractive for a cartoon, but I've never,
Didn't really do anything for you.
No, not.
You wondered why she was with the rabbit.
I didn't. I never even saw the movie. I just saw the pictures.
That's it.
Yeah, I just saw the pictures. I thought, oh, she's attractive. But like, there's people that you choose that over real humans. I'm not judging you. Everyone has their own thing.
Real relationships are scary. Relationships you invent in your mind with cartoon characters are very safe.
It doesn't feel that safe to me, but that's okay.
They do get in a lot of adventures.
Oh, Harley Quinn. That's a good one. Yeah. Very, very, very attractive. And was played later by a real person. Right. So, yeah, sure. Okay.
Well, a lot of these cartoons are getting real live action films now.
Yeah,
but
of
still,
course. Of course.
Talking about the character.
Yeah.
The cartoon character.
Ascot. Have you ever worn an ascot?
I don't think I ever have had
don't lie to me.
Reason or occasion to wear an ascot.
Will you wear one?
I've
please?
shopped at the ascot shop in La Jolla a few times.
For what? Buying ascots for others?
Don't even know if they actually sell ascots.
They're
at
like,
the
oh
ascot
no,
shop.
Higgins is at the ascot shop for the white elephant gift again. Somebody's getting another ascot with little pineapples.
It's a good
all
spot.
over
That
it.
was always Dick Enberg's place where he got all of his suits down there. It's a good men's store in La Jolla.
What is the purpose of an ascot? Just
I
to
don't
look like
know.
like an a-hole?
Is it like a tie? Does it keep your neck warm? But that would be a scarf if it was
right. But
I don't really understand.
I don't either.
Do they slap you in the face when you walk in or as you're walking out?
I can't bensplain an ascot.
Yeah, what is the
I don't
purpose
understand it enough. An ascot tie is a neckband with wide pointed wings, traditionally made of pale gray patterned silk. All right. It's usually reserved for
You guys like ascots out there?
Will you wear one for us?
Sure, why not? It's usually reserved for formal wear with morning dress for daytime weddings and worn with a cutaway morning coat and striped gray formal trousers. Type of dress cravat is made of a thicker woven type of silk, similar to a modern tie, traditionally either gray or black.
All right.
That's a kind of cravat.
I'm signing out of my computer for the day. I got like 10 more minutes of this. I don't know what a cravat is either. I know what a crouton is, but I don't know what a cravat is.
Kind of English for tie, okay. I think, for the most part.
All right. When in doubt, spin it out.
Wow.
Still going.
Choppy
Still
wheel
going.
here.
Still going. Is there anything that you would wait in line for a week to do, see, or get?
A week?
No, not a day, not an hour.
A week.
I'm not waiting an hour.
Anything.
What's your longest wait? What's the longest wait you'll do for anything right now? You go to a restaurant. Oh, yeah, sir, we had a full.
I'll wait. If I really want to eat there,
hold on.
I can go up to an hour. I could. If there's like a nice, like a waiting area, a bar or somewhere where I can wait.
No, just wait.
Like just wait on the bench,
you don't get to sit
wait
and
in
have
line.
A moose bouche or anything before.
I can definitely do 30 minutes. A week. Like I would have to, it would be like, okay, let's say I was really excited, like a new sandwich shop was opening. And
you'd wait for a week.
For the first like 10 customers, they were giving away free sandwiches for life.
You couldn't wait a week.
I might be able to wait a week. No. I'm pretty patient.
For a sandwich?
For life.
I could wait a week in life.
Free sandwiches for life, not one sandwich.
Yeah. No, you wouldn't.
Well, the way those work, you know that. It's like like one a week for,
I think I could do that.
Page spare now. That's it.
A week.
Yeah, wait. That's
it. Sitting outside of a store, grand opening.
No, not for an autograph.
I know that.
No, I'm not waiting. I can't wait. I just discovered on the road trip we went on. You're going on a trip on Friday. The drive is between anywhere from 5.5 to about it could be potentially with traffic 8.
Yeah.
And I told Hannah as soon as we pulled in the driveway after our one night away, or about 12 hours away in Palm Springs, as we pulled into the garage, I got out of the car. I go, just so you know, that's my limit. 2 hours. Both kids. The whole time, are we there? Dad, are we there? Are we close? Dad, are we in San Diego? Dad, where are we in the desert? Where's the desert? Dad. And I'm like, I told her, I go, that's it. That's the max. So 3-hour drive, not happening.
I'm not taking your kids on this drive.
That's true. But that's my limit as 2 hours, and it was about as excruciating as you can imagine.
Now, Paul, you've told the story before. How long did you wait in line for Aztecs basketball tickets? For the show, for the Kawhi Leonard team era?
4 or 5 days.
4 or 5 days in line for free tickets, right?
I was 20 years old. Different time in my life, for sure. There's no chance I would do that now, but yeah, it was midday on Tuesday. We started getting in line with everybody else, and tickets went on.
You never left. Like you would go to the bathroom?
You could go to the bathroom. You could leave for a class even. Like,
okay.
If there's 6 people in line with you or whatever.
Stakes, yeah.
You kind of knew after a couple of hours, like who was around you, and somebody had a final or something. Go take your test. I left for work, I think, for a few hours.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was, we weren't, but we slept outside.
It's interesting because the graph of how long you're willing to wait during your lifetime starts at the bottom. When you're a kid, you have no patience. You can't wait for anything. So it's 0. And then as you hit your like late teenage years to like college, where Paul skyrockets up to days for concert tickets, whatever tickets. And then as you kind of get to your late 20s and 30s, it nosedives back down to almost nothing again, as you will not wait again for the rest of your life for anything.
Bro, I mean, we had 15-minute wait in Palm Springs for breakfast the other day. And I was like, I'm looking and I'm like, don't be a jerk, because I'm never a jerk.
See, now
if there's
no wait at all, I'm a little worried. Like,
there's 4 tables.
This place must not be very good if I can get right in.
Couldn't care less. You never know. People are hungover. They're not there for breakfast. There's like 4 empty booths. And I'm looking going, why is it 15 minutes? But I got 2 little kids here and they're beating on the glass. Dada, juice. I'm like, please, you got to see this. And he sped us along because he saw that I was with, the little spawn. So he sat us down. Taylor broke a glass. That was a lot of fun. It was so good.
Just slip that one.
It's so great. It's so fun. So glad to be back at work.
It's a sign of appreciation in some cultures.
Yes. Yeah. He very much appreciated that restaurant. Ordered him chocolate chip pancakes. Did not have one single bite. Not one single
Didn't even dig some chocolate out of it? Like just
nothing. 0. He just sat there and stared at us, waiting for us to finish. Such a trip. Every day is a delight, my friends. Every day.
Can you imagine how how it would suck if someone had to order just whatever they wanted for you at every meal.
Every meal.
Yeah. You're like, you go to a restaurant, however old you are now. You get no say.
No
in what
say.
you're having. Someone else chooses your meal for
Well,
you.
ask him,
every single time.
You want chocolate chip pancakes? Yes. They come. He's like, gross. Disgusting. I don't eat this. I would never eat this. It's like, what? What are you talking about? You asked for this. I've learned now to order stuff that I like.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to end up finishing about half of that anyway. So it's been smart business. So anyway, anybody going to the game tonight? I'm not going to.
I went yesterday, not planning on going tonight. It's a 5:40.
Is it 5:40
tonight? I believe. Yeah,
or
1 hour early with a 4:40 pregame show.
I never get the logic on that because usually those
getaway day for the Angels.
The Wednesday games are usually getaway days, but
it is a 5:40. I love that.
It is a 5:40. I don't know where the Angels are getting away to that they have to. That extra hour is going to save them, but the LA Angels have a day off tomorrow too, so they are getting home to enjoy their day off briefly before they head off to Los Angeles for the next road trip against the Dodgers.
Grueling. Very, very grueling for the Angels.
Big extra hour before they have a day off ahead of a 20-minute road trip up the road.
Very
in traffic.
Yeah, true.
Hour and 45 minutes up the road.
It's a big one, man. It's a big one.
Who's the DH today? So they're facing a lefty. Nelson Cruz has been DFA'd. So you're going to want to get either a righty bat into the lineup somewhere. Dixon, probably.
You're going to get Batten.
Yeah, he's back on the roster. He was hitting pretty well down in AAA.
He was. He's also really, really fast. He's kind of a terror on the base path. I think he's swiped 24 bags or something down in.
Wouldn't be surprised if Bob wants to get him some action now that he's up here, just to carry over whatever momentum he might have had from El Paso.
No question.
Yeah, probably one of the Matts, Brandon or Matt Dixon. Yeah,
Matt.
I guess there's only one Matt.
There's one Matt.
There's just the one Matt.
Yep, Brandon and Matt.
No other Matts.
Yep.
Or you can get
Matt
someone
Carpenter.
else off their feet, like you did with Manny yesterday, and give someone else a day off. You could have
you put Dixon
play first and give Kim a day off. Although he's playing so well, I wouldn't necessarily give him a day off.
Stay hot.
Get Xander off his feet
Could
for
be.
once. Put
He's
Kim at
hitting
shortstop
great.
and have him DH, and you put Dixon at first. You could do that too.
Yeah. Going to get get a little rest for a couple of the guys, I would imagine. But no, keep the train rolling, man. 2 big wins, and got to see it again, man. Got to put the foot down on these guys tonight. Get that sweep. That's got to be feel so good going into the series against the Mets. And we'll have all the details and then some tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. when we kick off again.
Because we actually do talk about things that happened in the past, Yonder, not just out the front windshield. This hour on the Fan brought to you by Cars.com. Whether you're looking for the perfect summer road trip car or something you can zip around in, visit Cars.com today. They have over 2 million cars for your 2 million summer possibilities. Head to Cars.com. Check out the possibilities. Cars.com. Where to next?
Jim. Doctor. Coach
John Quintero program. Braden in today. I see Frank's here, so I guess we'll find out in a moment. For Paul Reindl, Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. From all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.